All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. And we are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. And we are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. And we are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. Welcome back, Wayfarer. Just setting up. Let's get ready to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, all right, all right. Yeah. Get it. Groove with it. Move with it. All right. All right, all right, all right. Let's get ready to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, all right, all right. Welcome back, Wayfarer. Have you traveled far?
Only from east to west.
All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right. Let's get ready to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, all right, all right. Meet upon the level and part upon the square. All right, guys, Frank Monday coming at you once again like Finnegan. So if you've got a yen to expand your kin, then let's get zen one more time here on the Frank Monday channel. It is Thursday, May 8th, 2025. 2025, what would that be? MMXXV in Roman numerals. I'm broadcasting to you from the central kingdom of the celestial dragon, Twilight Zone Old Peking, far behind the bamboo firewall. I hope you are doing well, Wayfarer. Welcome, one and all, wizard, warrior, wanderer, and wildcat alike. If this is your first time, don't let it be your last time. Please hit the thumbs up, like and subscribe to the channel. All that happy horse shit that makes YouTube's algorithms bark like Pavlov's dog. Because aren't we all just fucking barking for the machine, right? Trying to get a little snack, wagging our fucking tails. Once again, like Finnegan, must we go round again? I do believe we have to. One more time, guys. One more time. All right, all right, all right. Make sure you check me out on buymeacoffee.com/Frank Money. Put a little something in the tip jar, guys. I'm running out of hours. I got to keep this show to about an hour tonight because I'm running out of StreamYard hours. And it's $40 a month to get access to StreamYard. Can you believe that? Man, that's not cheap. So old Frank Monday, I always swore that I'm not going to put any money into this thing, right? I'm just doing it for fun. So this will be the last show probably where I can actually host guests. And so if you like being on the show, you like chit-chatting with Frank, you got to go over to buy me a coffee and pull something in the tip jar, because that'll put the lead in my pencil, the pep in my step, the jelly in my donut. And with that, I can keep my nose to the grindstone, keep working hard for all of you, and you, and you, and you, and all the yous out in YouTube land, right? Because we all spring from the same tree of life, the U tree. Except for the golems, right? Goyim. NPCs, as they call them, non-player characters. I've met a few of them over the years. I've seen them hiding out in the shadows, hanging around, looky-loos, right? Looky-loos, just wandering through, random internet tourists. They aren't doing any of the hard work themselves, right? They're just fucking leeching off of other people's work. Parasitic entities. Demons! Yeah? That old transmortified queen, Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie, how's it going? Hello. Hello. Sorry. Hello. 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 Sorry. What a demon! What a foul beast. Yeah. Team Evil, man. You gotta watch your back. They're fucking gunning for you, baby. Every last one of those motherfuckers is gunning for you. Whether you be Jack Talcott, or Slow State, or Paul, the slaved gimp. Yeah, you guys know these characters, right? The Rotten Tomato, Pandora's Box. Who have I missed? Who haven't I included in the panelverse? All right, I don't know any of the other motherfuckers. Y'all other motherfuckers ain't got no kind of name recognition. But you'll have to stop by and say hello. If you're an internet tourist, if you're a content creator, oh, I'm a content creator. I'm creating content. If that's what you are, then why don't you stop by and say hi? Frank Monday's on the rise, baby. Coming up in the world, looking at 1,000 subs, which is going to put me on par with most of you, right? 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. You guys aren't far ahead. You're not that far out in front that you can't be caught and brought down. One sure thing to bring the giant down. Right? The living dead girl. Who is this infernal creature with nocturnal proclivities and an insatiable lust for blood? She's a living dead girl. That's all right. I ain't got nothing wrong with necrophilia. Y'all motherfuckers getting out there with your dead rat. Oh, I forgot about Axis Rat Blood. He stopped by the other day. He wasn't very friendly, though, or cordial. He wasn't very, very amiable. He chose rather to launch attacks, right? What are you gonna do about that? What you gonna do about that? Got to wash my hands. I like to keep clean hands, baby. You know what's up with that. Keep them hands squeaky clean. All right, guys, I'm gonna roll off into the abodes of the future if there isn't anything fun going on out here in Happy Land. Y'all good-looking, sexy people too busy, you know? Just because it's fucking 6 a.m. in the morning for most of you doesn't mean you can't stop by and say hello. Old Frank Monday headed off into the abodes of the night. Got to get jiggy with it, all right? I do the wiggle, man. I do the wiggle, man. Shake your ass like you know what's up. Think I'm wasting my time. No, never. Never. The Socratic seminars, what's happening right here, baby. Me, you, and the other are gonna get with it. We're gonna get busy. Let's get busy, y'all. All right. Update for the channel here. 10 minutes into it. Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon. Quick shout out to Frater Sal Smith. Adeptus Exemptus. Good man. Appreciate you looking out, brother. 100-day challenge. Way of the Psionic Agent. Get with it. Syllabus is up at buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. Hit the likes. Subscribe and leave comments on the videos, guys. That really helps out. That's what they say, and I believe it. I mean, the more you do that, the more action you get, right? And Buy Me a Coffee is where you can check it all out behind the scenes. Guys, we're on the drive to 1,000. We've got to reach 1,000 subs, and I've got to, you've got to help me get there. You guys are the only ones, man. It's just you and me. You guys are the only ones that can help get me there. So I beseech thee, share a video, sub a friend, secretly sub your grandma, tell people around the fucking water cooler at the office. Be like, why don't you check out that Frank Monday, right? I heard that you were interested in the esoteric and the occult. I mean, that motherfucker boils it down to brass tacks. He gives you simple, easy methods. 4-fold breath. Inhale. Be inspired. Hold. Create your sigil. And exhale. To create moment, release it. And then hold again at the bottom for a count of 4 on each one. Do it with me, Wayfarer. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. That's it right there. 4-fold breath, man. That's how easy magic is, man. If you pay attention. Now, I've taken you down into this hypnotic journey of self-exploration a few times now. Tonight, we're going to go into the ancient deserts of Egypt, directly to the pyramids at Giza, right? Beyond the city of Cairo. Imagine the Sphinx before you. Go ahead and find a comfortable position, allowing your body to relax deeply. You might want to take a moment, if you feel comfortable, to close your eyes. Obviously, if you're not driving, right, or operating heavy fucking machinery, focus on your breath and take a deep inhale, slowly, nice and slow. Audibly inhale, feeling the oxygen going in through the nose, feeling your abdomen rise, feeling your lower dantian expand. Hold it for a moment. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, gently letting go of any tension, any vexation, any frustration. Let go of those things and command yourself to relax. Imagine your holy guardian angel, beautiful, strong, empowered, your perfect self standing above you, with beautiful red gold wings vibrating at a high frequency, surrounded by an aura of scintillating white light. Inhale and aspire to your angel. Exhale, you and your angel are one. With each natural rhythmic breath, feel yourself becoming more stabilized in your relaxation, connecting with the earth, air, water, and fire. As you continue to breathe, envision an aura of golden light enveloping you and your angel. This light radiates comfort and safety, inviting you to seek deeper into that relaxed state. With every exhale, release any errant thoughts, worries, vexations, frustrations, and anything that could hinder your mind. Allow them to dissipate like mist in the morning sun, evaporating into nothingness. Bring your awareness down to your feet, that golden ball of energy enveloping them, becoming heavy, sinking to the surface beneath you, rooted in the prime material plane. Let this sensation of heaviness rise through your legs, thighs, hips, abdomen, and chest. You might want to move around a little bit, swaying back and forth, stroking and pounding the body. Allow that warm energy of relaxation flow into your arms, all the way down out into the fingertips. Now raise it up into the neck. Oh, the back, the shoulders, the neck, the base of the skull. And now as you pass from the base of the skull into the cranium, feel your entire body pleasantly weighted as if you are cocooned in an aura of tranquil energy. As you sink deeper into this state of relaxation, imagine yourself out on the desert plain before the Sphinx, ancient Giza, gold yellow energies of the desert illuminated by a full moon in the dark, starry night. A wizard is standing by the feet, the front paws of the Sphinx, and beckoning you forward. Wizard, sorcerer, mentor, and guide, come with me, my child, he says. There's a door there at the Sphinx, and he puts one hand upon it. Arcane energy ignites, and he invites you to come down, descending into the depths of your subconscious. The staircase is adorned with intricate curvilinear hieroglyphics, and each step invites you to explore further within. I'll count you down from 10 to 1, deep under the Sphinx and into your magical temple. And as you go, every sound and sensation will help you feel more relaxed and open to the journey ahead. 10, stepping down, and a wave of calming relaxation flows over you. 9, deeper still, as the world above starts to fade away into darkness. 8, Each step invites you to let go of the past and move forward. 7, descending further into serenity, tranquility, and relaxation. 6, halfway there now, feeling light and free. 5, the air is thick with possibility and potential. 4, almost at the bottom, ready to explore into the unknown. 3, just a few more steps. You're feeling more at ease. 2, you're now approaching the very threshold of discovery and revelation. 1, you have arrived at the door, gateway to magical potential. Before you stands a magnificent door, ancient and majestic, adorned with symbols of wisdom and power. This door, crafted from a deep, rich wood, seems to pulse with a life of its own. As you reach for the handle, notice how it feels cool beneath your fingertips, grounding you in this very moment. With a gentle push, the door swings open, revealing a dimly lit passage that beckons you forward. As you step across the threshold, you feel a wave of energy envelop you, pulling you deeper into the mysteries that lie ahead. You begin to walk down the passage, each step resonating with vibrations of ages past. The air grows warmer, infused with the scent of ancient herbs and soft incense. The walls are adorned with curvilinear hieroglyphics of the ancient Egyptians, whispering secrets of the universe and inviting you to absorb their knowledge. As you journey deeper, the passage opens into a grand, cavernous room illuminated by a soft, ethereal glow. This is a secret magical workshop beneath the Sphinx, a sanctuary where your desires can be sculpted into reality. Take a moment to observe your surroundings and gently recall your journey down. In this enchanted space, you notice an array of tools and materials scattered across a vast table, each one imbued with its own unique energy. Here, you are the engineer, alchemist, and artist of your own destiny, capable of crafting the life you envision. Take your time, Wayfarer. Explore the workshop. Touch the tools, notice their dimensions, feel their textures, observe the color and weight of each item, and absorb their energies. There are crystal vials filled with shimmering essences. Each one represents a different aspect of your life. Health, wealth, abundance, love, wisdom. Feel the energy of one of those vials near you, and as you pick it up, imagine connecting with the essence it contains. Find a space at the table that resonates with you, and in this sacred area, envision any outcome you desire. Take your time with this one, Wayfarer. What is it that you wish to manifest? Picture it clearly in your mind's eye using all of your senses: visual, tactile, organic, olfactory, gustatory. What do you see there, Wayfarer? What do you hear? What do you feel? Allow this vision to take shape before you, as if you are sculpting it from the very ether. With each breath, infuse your intention into your creation. Visualize the details, the colors, textures, sounds, events transpiring, phases of development, bringing your desired outcome to fruition. As you work, feel the energy of the room intensifying, swirling around you like a cosmic dance. You are not alone, Wayfarer. The spirits of wisdom and creativity are present, guiding your hands, inspiring your thoughts, and empowering your magic. Feel their support as they fill the space with encouragement, clarity, and unseen potential. When you feel ready, gather all of these energies of your creation into your hands and imagine them coalescing into a radiant orb of life, pulsating with vitality and intention. This orb represents your desired outcome, growing brightly with potential. Now, hold this orb close to your heart, feeling its warmth radiating through you, connecting you to the very essence of your being. And with each heartbeat and natural rhythmic breath, you draw in the energy of your creation, harmonizing it with your own. At this time, you might like to say a prayer of empowerment or affirmations of invocation and put your desired outcome to articulation, to word it into a magical evocation that will bring it about with even greater rapidity. You're never far from the truth, Wayfarer. Take a moment to enjoy the energy of this sacred magical workspace and put your wish seed into the cosmos. Begin to bring your awareness back to the present moment. Feel the surfaces beneath you, the air around you. Wiggle your fingers and toes and gently start awakening your body. In a moment, I will count from 1 to 5, and with each number, you will become increasingly aware of your surroundings, gradually returning to the waking world, bringing with you the insights and energies of your journey. When you are ready, Wayfarer, take a deep breath, hold for a moment, and relax. 1, feeling the surface beneath you and beginning to awaken. 2, becoming aware of the sounds that are around you. 3, taking a deep breath, feeling revitalized. 4, almost fully present, feeling alert and refreshed. 5, open your eyes, fully awake, carrying the power of the experience of what you've undergone and real magic. Welcome back, Wayfarer. As you return to the waking world, take a moment to acknowledge the journey you've just undertaken. Right? You've traversed realms of imagination and spirit, exploring the depths of your inner landscape. Feel the gentle pulsating of your natural rhythmic breathing, invigorating your body and mind. With each inhale, draw in energy and wisdom. And with each exhale, release any lingering remnants of the trance state and allowing them to dissipate again As you gradually awaken, become aware of your surroundings. Notice the textures of your clothing, the air caressing your skin. Envision the orb of light that you created, a radiant symbol of your desires and intentions. Know that this energy is intertwined with your being now, ready to manifest in your daily life. Carry its warmth and relaxation within you, a reminder of your power to shape your reality. I hope you enjoyed this brief hypnotic induction, Wayfarer. I have put the link in the ideas room if there's anybody out there in Happyland. Looks like maybe one person is tuning in. I don't know. That could be a family member. It could be a random internet tourist. It could be anyone. But there's the link, guys. If anybody's out there in Happyland, we're only at the 30-minute mark now. So if anybody wants to tune in and say hello, do so now. Otherwise, I'll probably wander off into the abodes of the future. That was a pretty good little hypnotic induction. I might just re-listen to it a couple of times as I go to sleep. Never know. If not, I got 30 minutes or so. It's 8 o'clock now, p.m. 8 o'clock on May 8th. I maybe got an hour to chit-chat. If there's any good-looking, sexy people out there in Happyland. If not, I'm not going to play a bunch of videos and hang around very long. So we'll make this quick. Let's get old Mo Wong up here one time to scare the fucking life out of you, right? Scary motherfucker right there. This is the guy in ancient Chinese Taoism that greets you when you enter the hell realm. Right? There's some fucking ne'er-do-wells out there that think they know what the hell realm is. They think that this prime material plane is it. Man, they got no fucking idea the kind of demonic entities that dwell beneath in the Clip-Oath that are ready to just suck the fucking soul out of you. And these dudes are serious, man. They're up to serious fucking business. Shang Tzu right here, the Mo Wong is what he's called, man. He's the one of the first gate guardians of the underworld. And when you show up and you've been the dastardly little piece of shit that you have been, right? The way you've been treating people and so on and so forth, he will allocate a punishment for each one of your crimes. And a lot of people, they don't believe in the reality of the spirit realm, and they think, oh, it's just, it's nothing, it's just atheism. When you're dead, you're dead. And it's like, yeah, really? You think you're going to be able to escape yourself by dying? Nah, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen, amigo. You're gonna have to face the truth every single day. And even after life is exhausted, you will continue to face the truth, whether you like it or not. It's just a reality. So he's a good guy. With that said, all hail. Holy art thou, Lord of the universe, vast and the mighty one, creator of heaven and earth, maker of all things visible and invisible, master of both the light and the darkness. We adore thee and we invoke thee. Send one of your divine spiritual agents, our holy guardian angel, to guide and protect us through the innumerable snares of the earthly sphere, and that cleansing wind to disperse all negativity and endless human opinion. Teach us those secret things which we must know for the completion of the great work and the glory of thine ineffable name, Adonai. So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. Amen. Remember, O neophyte, goodness alone is power, silence is strength, will regaineth omnipotence, and love lieth at the foundation. All right. Did you guys ever see this video? I don't think I could play more than a couple of seconds of it, but yeah.
Representing Wellington upon Trent, we in here. Big up on my Nathan coming through with the ganja roo. Boy, me want fit.
Good stuff. Selectra. This guy makes parody videos. He's kind of funny though. I like this one chorus by the girl. She's really pretty. She's actually an American, but she's playing like a British. She pretends to be British in these videos.
Big, big up.
Take me to the yard if you can handle it. Let's pop a Mandy or I'll cancel it.
Oi.
Then walk and let me battle through me body.
I know you've heard of me, boy. Yeah, she's a hottie. That's the kind of gal I like right there. Oof, very nice. Very nice. Very pretty. We'll drop that though, because YouTube doesn't like me to play any videos that aren't mine. So it's either my own videos or nothing, according to you BoobyTube. I just watched a guy replaying an Alex Jones video though, and I thought, some people can get away with it, right? If I tried to upload a fucking Alex Jones video to my channel, I would definitely get struck. Definitely get the strike. I'd get pounced on. Yeah, what do we got here? What's up with this? It says 23 seconds long. Let's check it out, guys. All right. Yeah, so this is one of the basic equations of the, what does that say there? Can you read that? Let me see if I can zoom in on that a little bit. So if you see the triangle of art, the third eye, the eye in the triangle, right? It appears at the center sphere, the sphere of control, right? We've got concentric circles, 1, 2, 3, and the sphere of control, area of direct control, right? This includes your thoughts, words, and actions. That's all you have control over. Your own mind, what you say, and what you do. Yeah? Can you agree with that? And I might speculate that some people don't even have control over their thoughts, right? So your thoughts can include visualizations, right? Internal alchemy, mind magic. You know, your words can turn into writings, books, and so on, right? And those can penetrate into the sphere of influence. Events are what occur due to actions, right? And they can supersede all the way to the area of no control. For example, you can go in and take some action, leave something behind, right? Like a loaded gun or something. And then somebody else walks along later on, picks it up, blows their fucking brains out. You have no control over that. Absolutely no control, right? That's the sphere of no control. So there are these three concentric spheres. The sphere of control where we dwell with our mind, body, and soul. Yeah. And then the sphere of influence, right? You have direct control over your thoughts, words, and actions. And this can influence your body, right? Placebo effect, etc. And other people around you, right? You can influence them. You cannot control them. And then the greater cosmos. This is the echo point. So the sphere of no control is the echo point. It's the great void, right? So you formulate your magic, you send it out across the sphere of influence, right? Across the concentric circles, radiating out like ripples on a pond. It hits the void, and then it returns to you fulfilled. Fruition. So the three symbols that I use, eye in the triangle for the upper Dantian, the celestial Dantian, five-pointed star at the heart center, for good magic, for the Christ consciousness, the terrestrial Dantian, And then the swirl, yeah, the counterclockwise swirl for the sphere of no control, the area of the infernal Dantian, and the void, the great abyss. All right, good magic. I've revealed too much. So yeah, I surround myself with writings and teachings of my own creation and my own inspiration, and I try to develop these systems over time. I could show you a few more, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to because I'm running out of time on StreamYard. So I'm just gonna roll off into the abodes of the future, guys. I put that link in the ideas room. If anybody wants to drop by real quick, because obviously I'm not a terminally online person. I don't work a minimum wage YouTube job trying to make numbers, right? I'm just one random individual tuning in for fellowship, spiritual conversations, and as always, open lines to the paranormal. So if anything paranormal has occurred, definitely tune in and tell me all about it. Because I love to hear it. You know I do. This is a good one. I was thoroughly enjoying this the other night. We'll look back into it a little bit.
Book of Ibon is one of the most elusive and dangerous texts in the history of occultism, with origins stretching back to the ancient city of Hibora, an almost mythical land now lost to history. Written by the sorcerer Ibon, a figure both revered and feared by the ancient civilizations, the book is said to contain knowledge that could either transcend human understanding or drive one to madness. It is considered one of the cornerstones of dark magic, alongside the Necronomicon and the Codex of Eternal Night. Throughout history, the book has been lost, found.
Yeah, and he failed to mention the unersprechlichen Kulten of Von Junst.
And passed through the hands of occult societies and forbidden cults, each of whom has jealously guarded its contents. Scholars of the arcane who have attempted to decipher the Book of Ibon are often struck by its eerie, disjointed language and cryptic symbols that seem to defy logic. The book is divided into several chapters, each detailing a specific aspect of forbidden knowledge, from the summoning of ancient deities to the manipulation of time, and even the evocation of the realm of dreams. Those who
The manipulation of time and the evocation of dreams. I was manipulating time today, guys, man. Really good magic. I was in a situation where I wanted to extend time and slow it down, but it went in the absolute opposite direction. It started to occur more rapidly. And then I was in a situation where I wanted to speed up time and remove some of it. And it did the exact opposite. It slowed down to a fucking snail's pace. So that's true apotheum. And at that point, I genuinely experienced high strangeness. And I'd tell you more about it, but I'm not going to just speak to an empty room. So, yeah, we'll save it for another time. Really good magic, though.
have sought its knowledge have been left with more questions than answers, and many have disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Chapter 1: The Dreamer's Gateway.
Yeah, honestly, nearly everyone that has endeavored to study the Necronomicon, the Book of Ebon, the Onospreklichen Kulten of Von Junst, or Mysterious de Verme, right, have disappeared from the world at around 46 to 47 years old. So it's a very dangerous path, right? You have to be extremely careful. Well, what you have to do is you have to invoke God daily, right? You have to ask for the protection and guidance of God and his angels, and you have to beseech him to send you a divine agent, a holy guardian angel, to protect and guide you through the innumerable snares of the earthly sphere. Right, and that has to be predicated by that cleansing wind to disperse all negativity and endless human opinion. Let's get into chapter 1, the Dreamer's Gateway. Wow, good magic.
In this opening chapter, Iban introduces the concept of dream magic, a form of sorcery that allows practitioners to enter the realm of dreams, a space that exists alongside our physical reality. Unlike typical dream interpretation, dream magic allows one to travel consciously into the dream world, where the laws of reality do not apply, and the barriers between time and space are fluid. The dream world is populated by strange, otherworldly beings, and Iban suggests that these entities are not mere figments of the imagination, but real and powerful forces that dwell beyond the perception of waking minds.
Yeah, that's a fact, guys. If you were here for the earlier part of the transmission, I took you into the dreaming mind, right? The subconscious mind with a short hypnotic induction. It was about 20 minutes long, something like that. But we arrived at initiation to the Hermetic Brotherhood of Luxor. So at the Temple of Luxor, the Sphinx in Giza, right? We began our descent into the secret magical workshop beneath the Sphinx. Yeah. And we did some really, really basic intention magic with that hypnotic induction. Now, when we did that, the only other being that appeared to us was the wizard at the original gate inviting us in. After that, we were just alone with our magic. And so the workshop beneath the Sphinx is a very secure location. And it's really what a treat, what a wonderful thing that I've brought that forward and allowed you entry into that secret chamber. Obviously, 1 in 1 million will actually practice going forward, but that doesn't matter to me. The one person that will practice the astral temple magic is going to benefit, and everyone else is just, they're just naysayers anyway, right? What's their job? To say nay. We are the Knights of Ni. We say nay.
Iban teaches that by using specific incantations and rituals, one can enter the dreams of others, communicate with those long dead, or even explore the hidden landscapes of the subconscious mind. However, the book warns of the dangers of this magic, as those who journey too far into the dream realm risk becoming lost in it forever, their minds shattered by the horrors they encounter. Iban also alludes to the fact that some of the ancient gods and powerful entities, such as those lurking in the outer darkness, use the dream world as a means to influence the waking world, subtly guiding or corrupting human actions.
Yeah, so a moment ago I was showing you guys the chart of the 3 concentric circles, right? And the casting out of magic into the void, and then being able to get a return on investment, right? There's got to be an ROI. If there isn't, then what's even the value in it? I'll tell you about a situation I was in recently where and greetings to Ricardo Sunshine. Good to see you again, amigo. I hope you are doing well. I was in a situation where I needed to call upon my magic to make some changes and make some events transpire that were deeply important to me. And I set out the parameters. Sorry, guys. I set out the parameters of my magic very meticulously and specifically. And it, after having done my ritual incantations and given sacrifice, the rapidness, the speed with which it all came back to me was extremely salient. And God, it's just such tangible proof of the Lord's divine gifts that he gives us every day: life, breath, love, health, wealth, and wisdom, right? As old Benjamin Franklin said, early to bed, early to rise, makes one healthy, wealthy, and wise. A quick shout out to you, Ricardo Sunshine. We got about 30 minutes or an hour, man, if you want to tune in and chat for a little while. I got the link in the ideas room. Yeah, if not, we'll go a little more forward with this video, and I'll probably wrap up the show at the 1 hour mark. We're at 50 minutes now, but if we can get some magical banter going back and forth, then it'll be worth sticking around for a while.
The realm of dreams is not a place of peace, but one where the veil between the mortal world and the eldritch cosmos is thinnest. In the realm of sleep, the veil is thinned. The dreamer steps beyond his mortal form and walks among the stars, guided by the whispering shadows of those forgotten by time. Chapter 2: The Eldritch Altar. The second chapter of the Book of Eibon discusses the creation and use of an Eldritch Altar, an important tool for invoking entities from the beyond.
All right, guys, yeah, here it is. This is the astral temple I take you into with each induction, right? This is, if you create it in the waking state through self-hypnosis and internal guided meditation, then it will be accessible to you in the dream world, right? So when you enter into Dreamland, everything that you've created and etheric double for will be available to you. All of your ritual implements, right? Your sword of wisdom, your robes, all of the various accoutrement of the wizard will be there for you. The altar, right? They show an altar here, but you should use I like to use the Golden Dawn double cube, double Saturn cube, black obsidian altar. It's a really good one. There are other ones. Poke Runyon uses a different one. So you might investigate that. You might create one of your own understanding, so on and so forth. But all of those things, including your astral temple, will be available to you, right? Wasn't it the great Jesus the Christ who said, "Do not pile up your treasures on earth, but to get them in heaven." I think I should pull that quote because that's a really good one on magic. I mean, he was a high level magician, that old Jesus the Christ. Good man, Son of God, they called him, right?
These altars, according to Eibon, serve as a focal point where the boundaries between the material world and the realms of the old ones can be breached. The altar must be constructed in a precise manner, using specific materials like bone, obsidian, and the ashes of sacrificed creatures.
Yeah, just obsidian, 2 square blocks, 18 by 18 inches, cubed, one on top of the other. The double cubed altar of Saturn. That's the best one for the neophyte. If you're just beginning magic for the first time, that's the one you should utilize, right? And you might want to put curvilinear hieroglyphics to represent the angels. You might inscribe it with Hebrew and the alchemical agents, right? And so on and so forth. You know what Pilate said when he first met Jesus, right? "Jesus, I am overjoyed to meet you face to face. You've been getting quite a name all around the place. Healing cripples, raising from the dead. And now I understand you're God. At least that's what you've said. So here is the Christ. He's the great Jesus Christ. Prove to me that I'm no fool. Walk across my swimming pool. If you do that for me, then I'll let you go free. Come on, you king of the Jews."
When properly constructed, the altar acts as a portal through which the practitioner can communicate with beings beyond human comprehension. Rituals associated with the altar require elaborate ceremonies, often involving the offering of blood, the chanting of eldritch prayers, and the use of sacred symbols.
I would deviate in this. I know that, for example, Axis Rat Blood, he's big on blood sacrifice and blood magic. But in Taoism, we find like any type of desecration of your body to be bad mojo. Like you don't cut yourself, you don't tattoo yourself, you don't abuse yourself unless it's to keep yourself awake through long hours of arduous study. So you might like pound the body, right? But it's not, you're not hurting yourself. Like right now, I guess I could probably show you guys real quick. Give me a second. Yeah, I'll pop on the camera just for a second. So like basic spirit wine pounding is done this way. And each morning when you wake up, you should pound, or yeah, you should, you do whatever the fuck you want, right? But you can pound the thymus gland, the sternum, right? Around the heart area and up and down on the sternum 50 times. And this will release that chemical that what is it called? I forget, man. I can't remember all the jargon. I remember the practices. People who can articulate it, right? They're highly intellectually smart, right? And they have a good mouth. They're not necessarily good at practice. I'm a man of practical application. You know, you get in there, you eat our san su wu liu qi ba jiu shi, eat our san su wu liu qi ba jiu r, eat our san su wu liu qi ba jiu san, eat our san su wu liu qi ba jiu si, eat our san su wu liu qi ba jiu wu. So that's 50 right there. You should do at least 50 pounds on the central drum. We have 3 drums in the body, right? The 3 Dantian. There's the central one, that's called the center, the heart chakra, right? Is what you guys like to call it in the Hindu. In Chinese Taoism, we call it the center elixir field. And so you pound that elixir field and it releases an elixir in the body that makes you regress in age. It actually makes you younger. I mean, I'm fucking living proof, man. I'm getting I'm on the better half of 100 right now, right? Halfway there, baby. More than halfway there. So that's good fucking magic right there, man. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you pick up something of practical value in your explorations here, because it's not all just about mentation, right? So many people get out there talking about this idea or that idea, and all of it is so obtuse, right? And miasmic, and it's just melodrama, and none of it serves the root of your life. Yeah, it fucking polishes your branches, you know, it rubs the fruit a little bit, but none of it addresses the root of the thing. Whereas what I do, everything I do, I attempt to, everything I present, to make myself a workshop of the subtle origin, the concourse of life, and to promote those ideas among my fellow men and women, right? My brothers and sisters, Frater at Soros of the Esoteric Order of Dagon. Because if you're here and you're joining in, then you're being initiated into the Eastern Star Division of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, right? All hail the Father Dagon, all hail the Mother Hydra. Cthulhu is risen. I mean, think about that. Throw up your left hand on the pillar of mercy and hail unto thee who art the Father Dagon. Then throw up your right hand, yeah, on the pillar of severity and invoke, holy art thou, the Mother Hydra, Nuit, Astarte, Dagon, and Astaroth, right? And then combine those two polarized yin yang energies to give birth to the self, and reach down, you know, to the lower magic wand and say it. Cthulhu is risen. On Fugo der Athe, Cthulhu really of Nageltagen, right? If you know that ancient incantation, some of you might. All right. Yeah, I think I lost connection to the internet, guys. Are you still there? Can you still hear me? Hello, 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 hello. AirPod. Hello. Yeah, sounds like it might be okay. I'm not sure. Greetings, Ricardo Sunshine. Good to see you again, amigo. I hope you're doing well. And to anyone tuning in the future, like if you might hear this, right, Wayfarer, um, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, whoever you are, and whenever you receive this transmission, right? This is the Esoteric Order of Dagon with Frank Monday, Grand Wizard, self-appointed Pope of Discordia, right? The Pope isn't dead; he's alive and well. Just call him Frank Monday, right? Pope Francis Lunas Aristeas of the OTA. Quick shout out to Adeptus Exemptus, Frater Sal Smith. Good looking out, amigo. Missing you, man. I hope you stop by again soon. Way of the Psionic Agent, 100-day challenge, about halfway there. I'm out about 50 days to 100, baby. Getting at it. I'm in it to fucking win it, man. So if you have a yen to expand your ken, then let's get zen by touching the like button. Please, for the love of fucking God, touch the fucking like button. Scrub at it, poke at it, rub it, twist it, slap it, punch it, you know? Fucking tickle it a little bit. Do something with that goddamn like button. And leave a comment on the video, guys. I can appreciate that. It puts the jelly in my donut. Check me out at buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. With no further ado, let's get back into it. Yeah, we're back, Ricardo. We're gonna roll into the abodes though, man. Unless Ricardo, do you want to come up and chat for a little while, man? I could probably spare another 30 minutes. If not, I'm gonna call it at an hour because yeah, it's that's not why I'm here. I'm not here just to ramble on at the mouth like a useless piece of shit. I'm here to have intellectual, invigorating, more stimulating conversation. And without the stimulating conversation, it just ain't worth spending the StreamYard hours, right? Because they're costly, man. $40 a month, and they cut me off after 20 hours. That shit ain't cute, man. I'll be cutting off Frank Monday. You guys need to get over to StreamYard and be like, give Frank Monday more hours, man. Don't be cutting him short, baby. I transmitted 15 hours already, 17, 18. I'm going into my 19th hour here, and we're only 8 days into May. How the fuck did I do that? How did I do that? Because I work a day job, 60 hours a week, man, and here I am fucking in just a week's time, a little over a week, I've already put in 20 hours of online streaming. That's like, man, I'm like one of those minimum wage fucking terminally online employees, like Queen Stephanie, right? And your favorite internet guru and savior, Jack Talcott. And then your logistician and political commentator, Slow State, right? And don't anybody forget about Monkey Man Polly boy, right? Wanna be Joe Rogan, getting at it, motherfucker, and causing trouble up to all kinds of happy horse shit. Yeah, I love them all though, right? Honestly, I'll give you a basic rundown. Jack Talcott responded to my message. I wrote him a message. I said, here, let me read it to you guys. You can see it on his latest video. It says, Dear Jack, the other day in your chat, some random internet troll told me to stop quoting the ancient sages in your chat room. The individual is literally that short-sighted that they have nothing of value to offer. I recall a quip from my father that he was known to say, and my dad, he often said this, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. All right, just keep your fucking mouth shut. Go about your business. Better off engaging in your own spiritual cultivation rather than bothering someone else. All right, a fool at 40 is a fool indeed. You can't change the ways of a fool. What is it Mark Twain said? Mark Twain said, if you try to convince a fool of something, you prove yourself only to be the greater fool. Something like that. So I said, So my dad said, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And as if I would take advice from some random internet tourist over that of my own father. So if somebody's coming in and they're talking shit to me, right? And I know that my dad always spoke truth to me as a young man. And if they're saying something that's not nice, right? If they're not there trying to push the philosophical, spiritual, intellectual, political, economical idea forward to benefit me and their neighbors in some way, then anything they have to say is absolute horse shit. And so why would I listen to that, right? I just have to fucking ignore it. It's funny too, anytime somebody starts talking and I can feel my father shaking his head in the background saying, you know, this guy's just jerking himself off, just fucking ignore him and walk away. Then I can feel my ancestors stand about me in spirit form. And I don't even need to look out for myself because they're looking out for me 90% of the time, man. It's amazing. So I go on to say that my dad was an old school fellow of the greatest generation, and he had a million one-liners. But my favorite master of maxims of all time was Benjamin Franklin. And he would say, you know, early to bed, early to rise makes one healthy, wealthy, and wise. And I went on to talk about don't pay too much for your whistle. If you've read Benjamin Franklin's autobiography, you know the reference, right? That's a nice whistle you got there, young man. How much did you pay for it, right? So I go on to say, Dear Jack, in your show today, you covered quite a few things that were presented as something new. I would remind you of the words of the Wizard King Solomon, who trapped the 72 demons of the Goetia in a brass vessel and was known for his great wisdom. He said, and I quote from Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9, he said, there is nothing new under the sun. I go on to tell him, hey, Jack, we're still fighting the same age-old battles that have always been there and always will be there. And here's what he said, guys. Check it out. I don't know if you can hear that or not. Give me a second.
The common man today, we raise the rates of literacy. The common man today has a much deeper and greater foundation of knowledge than many of the other generations before. So in some way, especially in the American Western world.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys could hear that or not, but I kind of disagree with this sentiment. I don't think people are smarter or more educated than we were 100 years ago. I look at the writings and pontifications of our ancestors, even only 100 years ago, and their fucking linguistic capacity was on another level. You had guys at 18 and 19 would graduate with a PhD, right? They were doctorate level at 20. And here we are struggling until 30 to try to get approved by the system to be able to get into a career. These guys were launching into doctoral careers, doctor of philosophy, doctor of medicine at 19, 20 years old. And they brought more forward in the 20th century than we have in the 21st century, right? Especially the beginning and middle of the 20th century. If we can do as much fucking good magic as they did in 100 years, we're going to be fucking so far goddamn in the future, it's going to be unbelievable. But we haven't, and we don't. Many people have entirely given up. I walk around a world filled with NPCs. These guys are guys watching TikTok. They're not fucking reading books of good value and merit. Absolutely not. When the British were checking out the Americans prior to the American Revolution, they went back and they told old King George, they said, we got a real problem. That old fucking Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, these guys are over there printing books without paying taxes on them. They were essentially engaged in piracy in the information war, right? Info wars. They were engaged in the info war they set up publishing houses and they started printing books like there was no fucking tomorrow, and they weren't paying the king any taxes on it. In fact, most people think of the Boston Tea Party as representative of the start of the revolution, but that wasn't it. It was the Stamp Act and book taxes, right? Taxes on, of course, commodities like coffee, opium, tobacco, whiskey. They had a tax on all of those things as well, and they raised those. But they were you had to pay high dollar to print a book. You couldn't just reprint a book. You couldn't set up a printing fucking press and just start rolling off books, right? There's copyrights. You got to pay the king. And Benjamin Franklin was one of the revolutionaries in this area, right? Opening the Lending Library and just printing like there was no fucking tomorrow. And what did he do? He didn't use any of his own words or sayings or understandings. He just quoted all the ancients. He went all the way back to Socrates, Cicero, fucking Xenophon, Anaxagoras, whoever else, Marcus Aurelius, throw anybody you want into that ancient fucking basket of deplorables, the Greeks, the Romans, right? They grabbed fucking cock and left everybody else holding balls. Yeah? That's where the kind of fucking men that are rooted in my history. Hey, Creek Mary's here. Good to see you, Creek Mary. She said you had to be literate with a vocabulary to learn past and tradition. Now all you have to do is sit back and receive TikTok wisdom. Ain't that the fucking truth, man? I've been working on my vocabulary for the last 40 years. Since I was a kid, and I found that the articulation of certain enunciations of vernacular within a certain dialect were of absolutely essential value, sine qua non to anything else. And I thought, God, man, word magic, that's where it's at. Get down and get gritty. Grab fucking cock and leave everybody else holding balls. Yeah, that's the Roman way, man. Definitely. Good magic. So where did I leave off? I was reading you guys that I don't think there are many people out there that are doing much more than the guys were 100 years ago. Are we forming esoteric occult circles like the Hermetic Brotherhood of Luxor, like the Golden Dawn, the Ordo Templi Aristeus, or Odo Templi Astarte, or Odo Templi Orientis? Has anybody got anything like that fucking going on? No, very few people. And I wouldn't have had it going on either, except for beloved Frater Tomas, right? My Sweden brother that was over here in Beijing for 10 years. He's the one that lit a fire under my ass that said, hey, Frank Monday, you fucking know Kung Fu, you know swing dance, you know ceremonial magic, you know hypnosis, you know about therapy, you know about acting and improv. Let's start a fucking group where you can have classes and teach these classes. And he said that he would organize it. He'd find the locations. He'd fucking set up the business end of everything. And we worked in business together. All I did was have to show up and fucking do the teacher role. I'd show up with my lesson plan and my class notes and teach a Kung Fu class or a swing dance class or a class on tarot. And he was my hypnotherapist, man. And we had a beautiful relationship. And he fucking died 1 year ago. 1 year, March, April, May, and 2 months, not nearly 2 months, 13 months ago, he passed from this world into the abodes of the beyond. Suddenly, and without warning, without any indication, we were doing hypnoapotheosis. I think it was hypnoapotheosis. It was one of our 100-day challenges, and we just shot a video. And he said to me, hey, man, I got to cut off early. We usually spent 2 hours talking and doing a video. And about an hour and a half into it, he said, I got to leave a little early, man. I'm not feeling very well. I got to go lay down, blah, blah, blah. It was the middle of the day for him. It was evening for me. And he went and he laid down and he died, my friends. He passed from this world, and I've received no clear communication from the world beyond. It's been over a year now, and I've been doing some rituals to bring him back, some necromantic magic, to ask him what the fuck went down, and to join me, because we were about to launch a new 100-day challenge, and we were planning, we were plotting, we were lesson planning, we made the whole fucking syllabus. We were going over the fine details of every good goddamn thing we were going to do. We were planning a meetup in 2025 at my land in Tennessee to do a retreat. You know, just invite people out to come out and hang out and socialize and hang out for a few days and do some fucking kung fu, qigong, hypnosis, that kind of thing. You know, some massage. I've got a bit of a fresh spring there that's what is that called? Like a hot spring. You know, the water comes out and you can sit in it and get all fucking jiggy with it. You know, us Tennessee Indians, like Creek Mary. She's a featherhead. Good to see you, old featherhead. How you doing out there in Happy Land? She's probably a powerful shaman you don't want to fuck around with, right? She's got that fucking Indian magic. All right, the savages, the redskins. She's gonna come at you with a tomahawk and cut off your fucking scalp, right? If you fuck around, absolutely. But yeah, if you get on her good side, she'll probably bust out the peace pipe. You could do a powwow, get in the sweat tent, and get all wet with it. Yeah, I like both. Either way, right? I did hand-to-hand combat with a guy at a powwow, and he kicked my fucking ass. He was this giant 6-foot Native American. Well, I thought he was a kid. And I was like, I could whip this guy because I've never been scared of men, you know, weighing in at 200 pounds, 6 feet tall. My brother always told me I was fucking insane because I'm only 5'10" and I weigh 150 soaking wet, right? And so when I go up against guys that are 220 pounds and, you know, 6'2", 6'3", whatever, with arms like, you know, 18-inch fucking cannons on a USS destroyer, that's a kind of a dangerous proposition. But I've never backed down to a good challenge, you know. And I got a little bit of that Napoleon complex, right? You guys know about the Napoleon Bonaparte. His complex was that because he was a small guy, he had to overcompensate by engaging in warfare and fighting everyone, fighting the most powerful enemies, right, to try to prove himself. They call it a little man complex, right? It's funny too because my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, also had that complex. She was 4'11" and could whoop anybody. You know, she would never back down to a fight. Little old lady, she killed 3 husbands. 2 of them she murdered and never got fucking punished for it because it was justified, right? It was self-defense or whatever. But the 3rd one she outlived, and the 4th one she married a 4th time. I remember too. And he put her in the grave because he was in cohorts with a necromancer that gave people medicine that caused them to go into extreme diabetic where they have to get their limbs cut off, you know. And it happens really fast, man. So she was murdered by bad magic. But what's my point? I was at this powwow, you know, and we're all taking puffs on the peace pipe and everything's chill and happy. And then we're doing the fucking rain dance, you know, we're out there pounding the ground. And they said, hey, you should fight. It was like one-legged fighting or wrestling or something with this guy over here. He thinks you're a fucking idiot, you know, you long-haired Caucasian white boy showing up at our powwow. And I said, I looked at him and I was like, this guy's a kid. I think I was 20 or something, 19 or 20. And he was like 16. And yeah, he came at me, man, and he fucking he beat the shit out of me, man. He picked me up and he bashed me on the ground. Then he threw me into some thorn bushes. Then he came over and he said, this is the way the country folks say it. They said he stomped a mud hole in your ass. That was their exact wording. And yeah, I had to sleep in a coma for like 3 days after that. And Kung Fu just did not work in the face of overwhelming force. My Kung Fu dance got my ass kicked, man. I can admit that. It was good fun, though. Good magic. Ricardo Sunshine, good to see you, man. How the hell are you?
Hey, Frank. How's it going, man?
Doing well. Thank you, sir. What's new
Good.
with you?
I've just been listening. I came in a little late, about maybe 10 minutes in or so to your broadcast today, but I've been listening ever since, and I want to say your voice comes across so well on through speakers.
Okay, thank you for that, man. I really appreciate that. You have an extremely lovely voice as well. It's like I've noticed
Thank
that.
you.
I've paid attention to. You've only been over a couple of times, but like I feel like a golden light of energy when you speak. So there's some good
Oh
magic
wow!
there. Yeah, and I know that
Nobody's
you
ever said
worked
that
in.
before to me.
Yeah, you worked in music as well, right? So you have a very melodic cantor.
Yeah, well, I just try and speak pleasantly, really, and clearly. It's important to be clear if you're going to communicate. Nobody wants to be misunderstood or got wrong. So it's I haven't always spoken this well, but I've just been inspired and educated by some some good speakers. So I thought, who do I who do I want to sound more like? Do I want to sound more like common people who just they're all like rah, 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 rah. You can't
Right.
understand what they're saying, or they've got really fucking thick accents. Whatever, accents are fine, and they deepen the cultural richness of who we are. But I don't really consider myself to have an accent, although I'm from geographically I'm from the southwest of England.
Right. Yeah.
So
No. Yeah. It's overtly has a British lilting canter, and I find like as an American, we what's the word? We lionize the British accent because it's the fountainhead of English to begin with, right? So we respect
yeah.
that, and we have to study Shakespeare, and all of these things, but
Mhm.
it it has a balance between the Irish is just like almost unintelligible, but their like musical lilting quality I think is far superior to any other dialect that I've heard. But the British has a sort of like a plum, I believe that's the correct word. Um, but yeah, it has that
Yeah.
same mellifluousness or mellifluous quality. I can't even say the fucking word. But anyway, yeah, it's got that
I know
quality
what you
to it
mean.
that yeah. And
Mellifluous. That's a lovely word. That means flowing like honey, doesn't it? I
right,
think.
that's right. Like fucking honey off the spoon, right? Listening to your
Yeah.
words is like taking honey right off the spoon. That's very nice. Very nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Cool.
it
The
shows that
Irish are
you work
great.
towards that.
I'm sure I've never been to Ireland, but I've met a lot of Irish people, and I love the way they talk, and I'm pretty sure they think more poetically than us. They've got poetry in their language, in their soul, in the way that the English don't always have. That's what I've noticed.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Well, you know that sometimes people get what's the word, like ennui or saccharine. I believe that's the word. Like you get sick of something, you get too much of it. And I know that like
Oh yeah.
in your guys's, I believe that your model up until just recently followed a classical educational model. So you would
Hmm.
go through like grammar school and then um what's mathematics and then rhetoric, right? Or logic.
Sure.
Whereas
Um.
in
mm,
America, we deviated from that model like right around World War II. Like right after that, they said, they have the new standardized what we call like Common Core, which seeks to teach, certain skills or skill sets a little more differently. More, I would say the Americans were more. I don't know how it is now. Yeah, I've been out of the country for nearly 30 years, but
mhm.
it was more interested in practical application. So a much different thing. But we were encouraged to study lots of different. In fact, the only thing that my high school offered in way of second languages was French, Latin, and German.
Right. Right. Yeah. We had French. I was given the option of French, German, or Russian. And I
Oh
was like,
wow, Russian.
I don't think
That's a
Russian's going to be
wild
very
card.
useful in the future. So I chose French and German, and I actually got an
Okay.
A. I got an A in French. That was the top grade. So
Nice, nice.
I was really good at French. I loved French, and I still do. I just
Yeah,
don't, there's no French people are hardly in Britain. They're mostly in France. So I've not had much cause to use it. So obviously I've forgotten a lot of phrases and
that's
words,
funny.
but
Yeah, my only
still love
introduction
it.
to French was by way of Benjamin Franklin because he was a diplomat to France and he said that he loved Parisian culture. And a friend of mine during college gave me a copy of Baudelaire's Parisian Prowler. I think that's what it was called. The
All
Parisian
right.
Prowler. Is that what it was called? Baudelaire. But it's so good. I mean, oh my God. Obviously, it's translated into English from French, but the poetry in that is just so succulent. Like you said a moment ago,
Mhm.
right? Like honey off a fucking spoon. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
It's the nectar of the gods.
Hmm. Yes, I love poetry. I've got a few books, and I've been to a few uh it's not poetry readings, but more like open mic sesh what are they called, poetry slam,
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
where
Tell me about that.
somebody will just stand up on a in front of a lectern, and big crowd of people, big audience, and just riff poetry, and it's sort of like stand up, but it's not really comedy, more like stand up
Okay.
poetry.
Yeah. It seems
I,
like that
I
kind of
love
thing
I
was
love that kind of
popular
thing.
in New York.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, West Coast were more into stand-up comedy, but yeah, it seems like the New
Hmm.
Yorkers they were more into the that type of thing. Yeah, it's called The Parisian Prowler by Charles Baudelaire. Really, really wonderful. So
Okay,
good, so good.
I'll have a look out for that. I've heard of him, but I don't think I'm not familiar with any of his work.
Oh,
So.
he's got a bit of like a Edgar Allan Poe-esque type
Hmm.
romantic, almost horror type interpretation of things. I remember one of his poems that really stuck with me. I forget what it's called now, but he's basically sitting in a Parisian cafe, dining with a beautiful woman, and so he spends like a paragraph or so describing the absolute perfection and beauty of this woman, right? And the
Hmm.
exquisiteness of his surroundings and the scene, the luxurious textures, the gourmet food, all of this, right? And he looks out onto the street through the window and he sees a homeless beggar with a couple of children, urchins, right? He's holding one dirty and he's got another one at his side, pulling them along, and they're begging for money. Well, no, they're not even begging, they're just looking in. And he could see the absolute dejection and destituteness of this obviously a father with two children, right? But so he strikes this really stark juxtaposition against the moneyed and the unmoneyed, and then he looks after describing the scene of the father with the children or whatever, and his sentiment towards them, right? Like you can feel it in his writing. The tone of it is compassionate and kind and sincere. And then he looks over at this woman he had just he's with having dinner, and he looks at her and she's looking as well, and he sees this hint of disgust and loathing in her for the scene
Hmm.
outside. And oh yeah, it just immediately shatters his illusion. She goes from being this beautiful, decadent, succulent little morsel that he's about to consume, right, with his meal, to this evil, wicked sorceress and trickster. And she's fully exposed. We have a very succinct Chinese saying. We say that the fox has shown its tail because they believe that they believe those types of women are foxy, right? They're fox-like, fox demons,
Mm.
succubus, right? Succubus, essentially.
I think
So,
I've probably
but
come
but
across. I've probably met a few of those along my path.
go ahead. Yeah, that's when Baudelaire won my heart, right there with that one poem.
Oh, excellent. Well, I'd love to read it, but I obviously have to get a copy, or maybe look it up on the old interwebs, because
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
it's
you don't
always.
realize you can find anything. You can find poetry, on the
Oh yeah,
internet,
it's
all
wonderful.
kinds of like big websites. They've got loads of stuff from. There's just so much
There is.
appreciation for the.
It's wonderful, yeah, to be able to have it right at your fingertips. Like right now on my
Yeah.
desktop, I've got Lovecraft open. I've got Irish folk tunes, the Bonnie Lass of 5EO. I've got
Nice.
I've got poetry open. Let's see, what was I just covering? Oh, the entire work of Chicago by Carl Sandburg. I've got that. And I've got a famous English poet that wrote about clouds. Let me see. I wandered lonely as a cloud. Who is that guy? William Wordsworth.
Wordsworth. Yeah, of course. Yeah, he was English,
He wrote a
wasn't
one called, yeah, a big one called
he? Mhm.
A Few Lines Above Tintern Abbey. And it's interesting too. And he wrote with collaboration with Samuel Taylor Coleridge in lyrical ballads.
Coleridge. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
Coleridge. Okay.
Got
Yeah.
it.
What did I say? Coleridge. Yeah, Coleridge. Yeah, so a lot of these places, like even Tintern Abbey, I don't know how to pronounce these names. Some of them are just so.
I think I've
We
been
grew up
there.
on.
That's in is it in Cornwall or Somerset?
I believe so.
I
I
think
believe
it's
you're
in
correct in
Cornwall.
that. Yeah.
Hinton Abbey. I think we went there on a school trip once when I was younger.
Awesome. Yeah, that's so awesome. Right. So it just
There's
really
loads.
connects the worlds.
Yeah. There's loads of old, castles and ruins just left behind in Britain. Just mostly ruins and just rubble. But you've still got what is it called? Up near
Stonehenge.
thank you, Stonehenge, and that's
And there's
that's
another
ancient.
one nearby that I forget what it's called, but there's like a greater circle as well that's less known. And
I live quite near to Salisbury as well, near to Stonehenge, so it's not that far away.
okay, wow. Yeah, that's good magic. That's one of the main centers of like dragon line crossings that generates huge vortexal energy. And this shit's
Mhm.
legit, man. Like here at the Forbidden City here in Peking, the reason the emperor built it here is because wizards led him here and said that all of the dragon lines crossed and he could affect the entire world from this foundation. And um there are locations along the central path of, yeah, the ley lines. We call them dragon lines. I believe in is ley line, that would be Celtic, right? And so your language, would
Yeah,
it be like your proto English would be like, it would be Celtic in nature, I believe. Is that correct or not?
I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're
Anyway,
mostly direct descendants from the Celts and the Picts.
okay.
I think they were in somewhere. But
Yeah, so
it's all ancient.
when you do magic in these locations, it does have like really, really powerful effect. So if you were to wander
Mhm.
down to Stonehenge, you had a little something something in your mind and you wander around and you're gonna see things, man. You're gonna see
Mm.
things. Things are gonna happen. That Carl Jung's old synchronicity and follow your bliss. It
Mm.
absolutely happens at these places every fucking time because
Good.
I've been to I seek these places out. I went, I kissed the Blarney Stone, and I went over there and did all of that. And I did it here in China, and I do it back in California. And there's a special energy, even if it's somehow like there's a placebo effect, right? Like a what do they call that? Like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You believe something's gonna happen, so something does happen.
Yeah, yeah.
I like to stay malleable. The causation maybe. What did my dad always say? He said, "Mother, yes; father, maybe." Sad. He said, "I don't know if the little
Mm.
Jewish guy down the street slipped in or not while I was at work." So
So
fucking sad, man.
I've got a little story to tell. It could go on forever, but I'd prefer to keep it short and succinct.
Yeah,
But
do
there
so,
was
do so. Yeah, good man.
so I'm guessing you believe in the power of prayer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so me too. I'm not religious. I've never been, but I am spiritual. I've never been like a member of any Christianity or any religious club, because it's never seemed like, you know, I've never got good vibes from it. It's always seemed like the wrong path for me. I've always
I agree with you.
I've always just been kind of, you know, free and just explore, you know, free to explore all these different religions and different ways of life. And then, you know, then I discovered Taoism, and that, you know, that I learned some really powerful meditations from Taoism that just, changed my life.
Yeah, that's
and that was,
absolutely what Taoism is, right? You just
yeah.
described it right there. It's the ability to have freedom and explore any path.
Mhm. And so that, you know, I got into the whole philosophy of that, and that, you know, about maybe 10, 15 years ago, and that really changed my life and just freed up my mind. But anyway, so I was lonely one day. I was feeling particularly lonely, and I just thought, you know, I haven't had a partner, a romantic partner in a while, in a long, you know, few years maybe. And so one lonely night, I just sat in my room. It was all quiet, nice and dark, and I prayed. I put my hands together and I just made up a prayer, and I said, please, I need to, you know, please bring a partner into my life. I need a, you know, I think I said what, you know, I enunciated a woman, but yeah, I just I need a, you know, beautiful, I want a beautiful woman, to love and to love me back and all the rest of it, and just
Yeah, sure.
and I just, that it wasn't very long. It wasn't a very long prayer, and I said, you know, ended it with so mote it be, or you know, oh, it's getting warm in here. I'm gonna have to take my top off, take my jumper off. They started out cold, but it's getting warmer.
Oh, good magic.
So
Yeah, that's
basically,
nice. So you
it's
put the
getting
wish out there,
it's getting
the little
nice here. So
prayer. Yeah,
so
summertime.
I prayed, and guess what? I left it there, you know, forgot about it, went on with my day and everything, and not even within a week or so, I met this incredible woman, the woman of my dreams, just in the street, just randomly. I'm like, how, you know, I was just sat down on a bench, just I'd done some shopping. I was kind of about to go home. I was just sitting, chilling, like made a roll up, and this woman just appeared out from around the corner. She just came straight over to me, and she was like, oh, have you you know, you're right and everything. And she was beautiful, and she said, can you lend me some money? I need to get some wine. And I was,
Oh,
you know, she only
wow.
asked for $5. I was like, oh shit. I looked at her, and I was like, looked her up and down. I was like, you don't, I was thinking, you don't seem like a typical beggar, you know, because we have them here, and they're, you know, they're usually sort of, you know, they're not very
Yeah,
clean and
they're
stuff. But
they're often of a special class as well. But yeah,
and
continue.
so she just looked too classy. She was quite well dressed, and she had a, you know, a lovely smile. And I just thought, do you know what? I'm gonna. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. Excuse me. I'm gonna help you, because you know, I think you're worth helping. So I gave her the $5, and she gave it to me back and said, could you go in Sainsbury's and get me a bottle of wine? And I said, okay, I'll get you the nicest bottle of white wine I can find. And I said, well, will you wait here? And she said, yeah, sure, I'll wait here on the bench. And do you know, I didn't even expect her to be there when I got back, but she was, and I was just like, wow. And then, so I got the wine, we had a bit of a chat, had a bit of a walk. It turns out she didn't live very very far away from there. So she invited me back the very same night, and we hit it off like bang, like so well. Like there was just instant like attraction, and we've been together probably about 2 years, but we split up. Unfortunately, it all ended last December, and it was quite bad. I haven't, even though she was the love of my life, and we had this amazing, intense love affair and everything, I haven't seen her for a few months now. I mean, we talk on the phone, but we had a pretty bad breakup. So
Okay.
I
Wow.
haven't even cried. I haven't even cried yet. I'm still kind of in shock with it.
Yeah, just reeling from it, right?
I still
Is that your first broken heart?
no
Would you
no no
say?
no
No,
no way.
okay.
I've had my heart broken quite a few times. The first time
Good
was when
man,
I was
good man,
17
yeah.
with this, or 18 with this girl I met, who she had like three different guys on at the going at the same time, like
Yeah,
juggling
me too,
three
man.
guys, and I'm like,
I was
I'm thinking, you
19.
greedy fucking bitch. Uh,
Yeah,
she told
I
me
was 19 and
anyway.
I had that same woman. Yeah, go ahead.
No, when she told me she would she had an old boyfriend from a few years, but she was bored of him. Then she found me, and then things were going well. But she always said she would leave him for me, right? But she never did. She never fucking did. And what she then did was find a third guy, went off on holiday with him, and I was to Spain or whatever. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I still love this woman, and she's just, So I used to write her letters and stuff, love letters, and because we lived quite a long way away from each other. But it just wasn't to be. I couldn't. My heart couldn't take it. Like all this competition that she was giving me. I was just like, I
Yeah,
gave her an
yeah, that's
ultimatum. I said, look, it's either me or them, and I can't be in a three-way relationship with like other guys. It's just
right.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, it
So
is ridiculous. The other thing, I don't know, I've heard this recently. I don't know if it's true or
it's
not,
really
but
heartbroken then.
it's said because the nature of woman is so absorbent that she takes on all the DNA of every man she's with, and it will influence her future children and even her own future formation. So, like every man she sleeps with, she's going to take on a part of him, his essential essence, right? Because a
Yeah.
man's essence in Tao, like the semen, is a very powerful thing, right? They place it on the third highest echelon. So at the very base is water. Water is the like least valuable or least rarest element in the human. And then as you go up, and especially in man and woman as well, I would argue that women's sexual essence is just as valuable. But the next level up would be your blood. So they say it takes 100 drops of water to make 1 drop of blood, but then it takes 1,000 drops of blood to make 1 drop of semen. So we see this distillation process of very condensed, super sensual quintessence, right? And essentially, if you've read the book that came out that supposedly purported to have the alchemical formula for forming the Philosopher's Stone, I think it was called the Book of Aquarius. Is that right?
Okay. I'm not familiar with that one, but sounds good.
Okay, yeah. So in the Book of Aquarius, they use a process of each morning taking the first urine ejection of a man after sleeping and then refining it down through distillation until it's turned into the Philosopher's Stone, essentially, right? You have to use the beakers and the warming plate and all of that, but it's all laid out quite clearly. And I read through it several times because I have a chemistry teacher at the academy that has all of the equipment. And one of the big hurdles that I found would be like acquiring all of the equipment, you know, buying it all, the Pyrex glass, the heaters, the everything. But the only thing that goes into it is urine. And obviously the golem was also formed with semen, right? If you know the ancient Jewish tales, is that do
No,
you know how to make
no.
a golem or a what is that called, a homunculus?
Right.
Anyway, my main point
Yeah.
being, and I've deviated, I've gone on too far of a tangent, so let me boil it down. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, homunculus, that's right, Creek Mary. To boil it down, every beautiful romantic connection that I've made with like a so-called anima or like internal, you know, it's yourself basically. You're looking for that feminine part of yourself.
Yeah.
According to Jung, right? But everyone that I've achieved has also been through magic, and maybe not necessarily prayer, but various forms of mind magic and so on. Like the girl that you mentioned at 17, who was, yeah,
Mm.
obviously a beautiful sex kitten, right? But she was
Yeah, yeah,
entertaining several men.
yeah.
I found one that was like the most beautiful girl in San Diego.
Wow.
And yeah, she was like
Mm.
16 or 17, and I was like 18 or 19, I don't know, something like that. I'm
Yeah.
probably revealing myself to scrutiny at this point, but
Oh, it's a long time ago.
I was like, oh, yeah, when I saw her, I was like, oh my God, she's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. And I was on my skateboard and I was like kicking around. And I had just got through doing like some kung fu practice or something. And I thought to myself, I said, visualize it, roll up to her. She's going to give you her number and she's going to be really happy to see you and very interested in you. And I just told myself those basic thoughts and affirmations. And so
Yeah.
I kicked up on my skateboard as she was working in the mall, and I kicked up on my skateboard and I rolled by. And the first time I couldn't do it. I couldn't break through the barrier of fear, you know, because approaching a beautiful woman is very difficult for a man.
Yes.
And
Yeah. Yeah. It's for me.
so I flipped off, and she gave me kind of a look, but not really, right? Not a come hither look or anything. And so I skated back by and I said, fuck it, fuck fear. This is going to happen just the way I played it out in my mind, right? Through the visual process. And so I rode right up there and I hit up at the counter and I was like, hey, you know, how you doing? What's going on? I said, I was skating by and I saw you and I said, you're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen and I want your phone number. And she's like,
Hey.
really? Here, and she's like, really? Here you go. She wrote it down. She wrote her name on it and
Wow.
gave it to me on a fucking piece of paper. And I was like, later,
Sure.
baby. Got it. Yeah. And that launched off about a year long romantic interlude of just constant fucking sex and
Yeah.
just everything, you know, just so beautiful, so powerful.
Amazing. Why did it
That was
end,
my
if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, that was my first broken heart.
Mm.
I got into some trouble with some poundage I was storing for another fella, and my folks and my brother had got into my stuff, and they found like a shoebox full of money, a couple of $1,000 or something, and then they found this big backpack with like some bricks in it, and you know, back then cannabis wasn't legal. You know, it was kind of
Mm.
foreboding, and so they like my entire world unraveled. I went from being like, you know, the golden boy, got everything together, to being found out to be like a fairly mid-level drug dealer, you know, just marijuana, of course.
Mhm.
And yeah, so my mom, she grabbed the shoebox and she put all the fucking money in the bank, and they flushed all the weed down the toilet,
Oh
and
no.
yeah,
Shit.
her dad found out, and like everybody got involved, and we were gone. We were down in Mexico. Like I had
Mm.
taken her down to Mexico, to Baja California, like go surfing. I rented a little casa. You know, I was like flush with money because I was fucking slanging. You know, I was getting busy. I was a businessman. I mean, what am I going to do? My dad was a businessman. I'm not going to become a businessman. I mean, what the fuck, you know? Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, and her dad called the fucking police and he had me arrested for kidnapping, and he was going to charge me with statutory rape. And yeah, it was a whole bad scene. And yeah, it hurt so bad. And when we got locked up when we were like in the can, and I convinced the sheriffs, because it was a sheriff's department that actually arrested us. Um, I convinced them to let me go in and talk to her before her dad came to pick her up. Like he had to fly, he had to take a flight to come get her. And
Yeah.
we exchanged golden necklaces. We were both wearing a gold necklace.
Oh,
And
right.
yeah, we exchanged necklaces. And so I was 19 at the time, I guess. And here we go, man. I'm still wearing the necklace with the ring she gave me on my neck. Um, and she said she kept the necklace that I gave her too. So even like the necklace she had and the necklace I had, we exchanged necklaces. To this day, we both still have those necklaces. Because I talked to her like, I don't know, 15, 20 years later or something. We never got to see each other again. Like her dad totally fucking removed her from me. And he said, if you ever contact her again, I'll push forward with charges, this
Oh
kind of
my
thing.
God.
And my
Do you think
brother
it's
whipped the
because she
shit
was?
out of me.
Do you think it's because she was so young, or he
She
was
was
still very
17, I was
protective over his
19. We
daughter?
were like 2 years apart. No, he knew she was a fucking whore, man. She was on drugs. She was
Oh,
just so
no.
sexually active. It wasn't it. And I called him one day too, and I told him, and this was preemptive to this. Like I tried to warn him. I said,
Yeah.
she's doing meth. I said, I've caught her doing meth. I've caught her doing coke. And I was I smoked pot, but I didn't like hard drugs. And I
No,
said,
no, I don't.
yeah, I told her, I said, I'm worried that the guys she's hanging out with might try to get her involved with heroin and shit. And I'm like, you need to rein her in immediately. And it was like a couple of months later, he just didn't take away any of her freedom. She was still, out in the world and going to parties all the time. And I'm like,
Mm,
what the fuck is the matter with you as a father? And
at
so
least canon.
I kind of kidnapped her, I didn't. I just told her, hey, I said, we're going to go to Mexico for a couple of weeks, and take a break. I said, you're going to get off meth because she was doing meth.
Yeah.
And I was like, that ain't fucking cool. You need to do kung fu.
No.
You need to have sex with me. We'll smoke some weed or whatever. I said, but no more fucking meth,
Yeah.
because I saw meth kill people like in just a few years, and like crack and meth and heroin, people would go within like just a few years, they'd go straight to death. And that's
Mm,
not fun to see. There's nothing like seeing a person who's robust and healthy and then gets involved with the drug, and it's fun, it's good fun. Fuck, there's
yeah.
nothing wrong with having good fun. But to see them deteriorate so quickly, like to become prematurely old and to gray and lose teeth and lose hair, and it's like, fuck,
Mhm.
that ain't right. You don't need to do that shit. You know what I'm saying?
I know. It's
Yeah.
terrible.
So
Yeah,
that was good magic.
I've got a lot of
Let me tell you, let me finish that
I've
story.
got
Let me
much
put a fucking
experience with drugs, so uh,
let me bring that story into landing. So after having broken up with her, I grieved for 6 months straight. And like I literally grieved so hard because
mhm.
like she was the ultimate equation, right? The perfection of my being. I saw a future and all of these things. And it took me 6 months to fucking get over that. And that grieving was so painful. In fact, it was more painful than anything else I've experienced in this world.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
unbelievably. That was
I
my
was
first
driven
broken
almost.
heart.
I was driven almost to suicide from my first.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
pain,
yeah.
the pain
I was right
of
there.
losing someone you love. It was just so much for my heart to bear.
Right,
I just
right.
felt like ending it. So I got really low for a while. It took me about a year before I could finally move on, and I was fine again, just bounced back. But yeah.
Right, yeah. You know what got me out of it a couple of times? The first one with her was my kung fu. I just did fucking kung fu every day. Kung fu, meditation, and reading the Tao Te Ching. And then in college, I experienced another one. It took me about a year or so to rebound and then get another girlfriend, and start doing the same thing again or whatever. But then that one, She did the same thing, fucking cheated on me, you know, sex with a bunch of dudes or whatever, and
Yeah.
shit off. And that one hurt pretty bad too, but not as nearly as bad as the first one. But a friend gave me a guitar, um, and playing the guitar, like, I don't know what it is, but the guitar, like, it immediately alleviates that suffering, right? Like,
Okay.
I did like one or two songs. That's all I ever learned on the guitar. Maybe I could do 3 or 5 songs now, but and some of the basics of like chords and stuff like that. But yeah, like when you're in that deep sorrow and you strum on a guitar and sing and write your own lyrics and shit, like, wow, that's so healing. Anyone that's had a broken heart, that would be my first fucking foremost recommendation. Get yourself an acoustic guitar and learn to play
Mhm.
some chords and just fucking
Mm.
sing about it, you know. It's such a
Well,
beautiful thing.
that's good advice, but personally, I'm not really a guitarist. I've tried a few times, but I'm a musician, so I can play a trumpet. I'm quite good at keys,
Okay.
piano.
Nice, nice. Yeah, the piano. I would
Would
think
be
that
great.
any of those would be similar, right? Because after the guitar, I moved on to the guitar as well. I tried to pick up the violin, but I couldn't fucking get anything to sound right. And then
No, I'm no good at violin either. I tried.
okay, I settled on the flute. I like the bamboo flute. I do a Chinese
Oh, the
style bamboo
flute's lovely,
flute
isn't
now.
it? It's a lovely instrument.
Yeah,
Yeah, wouldn't mind learning that one.
yeah. I do a few songs. I do one called "The Gateway to Mount Ume." Chinese is Guanshan or the moon over Mount Ume, and then the crazy dance of the golden snake, Jinse Kuangwu. That's a really good one. And here's the craziest fucking thing. My flute teacher, who taught me these basic flute melodies on the Chinese bamboo flute, um, in my neighborhood downtown here in Beijing, there's a whole groups, and they did it all over the place until COVID. But there were whole groups of old people that would come out and dress up in traditional garments and play this exact fucking song from like 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. every single night. And there would be
Hmm.
one guy dressed, there would be one old man dressed up like a wizard and like 25 old women following behind him. And they would dance like a snake and they would go in circles and they're fucking flopping fans and just partying and beating on drums and shit. And there'd be like 100 people at the fucking intersection under the bridge right near my house, man. And they did that for years. And I would go out there and I would play fucking my flute and do Jinsu Kwangwu right along with them. And then
This is in
COVID, man.
Beijing.
Yeah, Beijing, that's right.
Right.
COVID destroyed everything, man. It shut
Sure.
everything down. And
Hmm.
they've come back out now, but I haven't. I never went back out again. It's been 5 years
Yeah. Wow.
because they demanded a digital ID to participate in community activities during COVID,
Mm.
and I was like, yeah, that's a step too far. That's
What
fucking Orwellian.
proof that you've had the jab.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do it.
I can say that. I wouldn't
I-
do it either.
I refused on the basis of cardiovascular trouble. I said
Right.
there's a really I convinced my doctor to give me a note and say there's a real great potential that it'll kill him.
Yeah. There was a thing, a caveat here. I don't know if it was across the world, but it was definitely here. Not everyone knew about it in COVID. But basically, if you went in somewhere and they questioned, without a mask or something, and they questioned,
Okay.
have you had the jab? You could say, what am I trying to say? You didn't have to give them a reason. You could just say I'm exempt. I'm exempt from wearing a
Yeah.
mask. You didn't have to say
Yeah.
why. That and so that's what I did when I went into shops. I just say I'm exempt, and that'd be it. They'd give you a funny look or whatever, but I just didn't believe it. Didn't believe it all, and I was just like,
Yeah,
I think my body is resilient enough and strong enough to be able to build up the immunity
Right,
to
and
fight off
the
these
only
kinds of
people
things.
they
So
overtly admitted that the only people it could threaten would be like infants and seniors, like seniors
yeah,
and with like
OAPs.
pre-existing conditions, right?
Mm,
Yeah, it wasn't even a threat to the general populace. And so it was that proved to me that the entire system is under one government, that it's all complete fucking madness. And they have
yeah.
one shutdown switch for the entire planet, or it's planetary control. It's one world government at this point. They act like they're fighting this or that or the other thing. They're all up to the same fucking shit. Whatever
Yeah.
they're doing, it's all agreed upon. These guys sit down and they fucking drink baijiu together and fuck prostitutes and laugh at the petty machinations of the plebeians, right? The plebes,
Mhm.
us serfs. It's a huge system of feudalism, and it's always been that way. I quoted recently King Solomon, the Wizard King, who trapped the 72 demons of the Goetia in the brass vessel and built Solomon's temple, right? Son of David, King David. He said, "There's nothing new under the sun."
Yeah. Right.
And this was a guy who set up a dark mirror in a magic circle and was able to summon demons through it, right? So that's what we're doing
Mhm.
right now. We have that self-same dark mirror in front of us. If it powers down, what does it become? Black obsidian. And we
Yeah.
we send the charge. Do you know that the original computers were created to communicate with the realm beyond the veil, with the spirit realm, with the realm of the dead?
No, I
That's
didn't
what they
know
were
that.
up to. Yeah, DARPA, Defense and Research Project, like
Mhm.
the
I've
U.S.
heard of them.
military, right? You've probably heard of
Yeah.
Project Stargate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, all of this was esoteric occult technology, and they were
Mhm.
attempting to see, hey, can we see the future? Can we see the past? Can we time travel? Can we create these quantum machines that are living and breathing even to an extent, Because what are we? We're electrical, biological entities of some kind, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
we're
We work
we're
on
really
electricity.
we're the highest level of technology and magic. And then they try to convince you that you're not, where your
Mhm.
brain can calculate 200 billion calculations simultaneously, right? You're powering every molecule in your being, and they're all engaged in processes, and you're sitting at the fucking in the throne room in control of that. You can reach out and touch things, or breathe and think and feel. These are all very powerful things that they discount all the time, discount this,
Mhm.
discount that. I would say that one of the first great deceptions is they say that we're monkey men. I talked about this yesterday, of course. But the second one, I think, is the vilification of the divine feminine and making sex into fucking, right? People talk about
Mhm.
fucking, they talk about a body count. Like a moment ago, the stories you told were just beautiful stories of young romantic love, right? Whatever
Mhm.
happened to that? You know, that's the most beautiful thing throughout all of human creation is this, the union of man and woman. It's a part of it. It's not
Yeah.
the
Well,
ground.
I've always valued love, and like until I didn't really know what it was, like until I fell in love with this beautiful woman. But it's uh it's something I've been chasing, all my life, and I've had mixed luck. I've had some luck, but then I've got this rule. It's kind of like I've got to be in. If I don't feel any love or care for someone or affection, then I'm not gonna I'm not gonna have sex with them. Basically, I can't do it just I can't do it just to fuck. I'm
Right,
really,
and
plus
you
I'm really
shouldn't.
choosy as well.
Yeah,
I did have a
yeah.
period in my life, maybe in my 20s, my early 20s, where I was a bit what's the word, loose, and
Wonton. Yeah.
I I'd fuck around, and sleep with different people, different nights, and take drugs, and just end up in weird situations. But that's you know, that was just experimentation. Like,
Right. Did
I'm
you
really
ever
just
see the
yeah.
Did you ever see the HBO television or Showtime television series called Californication?
No, no, but I'm aware of the
No.
Red Hot Chili Peppers album.
Okay, yeah, there's like a 10 season long Californication. I think it's the guy, let's see who's the guy. He played like Mulder or Scully in X-Files. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
Yeah, yeah, I remember. Hmm.
Okay, yeah.
The
He
guy from
did
that.
like this bon vivant California, Southern California, LA sex crazed writer that just runs around and screws everyone. And if you watched it, you would see a lot of the reflection in your own life, right? Like the world is a
Mm.
mirror. And yeah, it's kind of a fun thing, very sexy. I mean, everybody's fucking all the time, and that's LA. Like, if you really want to know, like the LA that I grew up in, that was it. Like, I could be jumping through backyards going to school and run across a fucking Brazers um, porno shoot, right? With like cameras out
That's
and
just,
people on the fucking chase lounge, fucking dicks everywhere. And I ran up on one time and I was just standing by and like watching. And like I got close to the camera and the director was there and he said, "Hey kid, go grab me, run over to the craft table, grab me this, that, or the other thing." And I was like just some random kid that just wandered onto a fucking porno shoot, right? And it was like, yeah, this is good fun, man. I was like 14, 15 years old, I was like, this is fucking awesome. Jerk off in my pocket. God, it's amazing. But yeah, that's
cool stuff.
Californication. Really kind of a fun thing.
Mm. Yeah, well, that was the California was the birth of all the free love, the hippie revolution and everything, wasn't it? So must have been a big center for all that kind
Yeah,
of thing.
and I find that now, like in retrospect, that's kind of it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's like it's decadent, it
Decadent.
verges on
Mm.
Sodom and Gomorrah, and there was a warning, a stern warning in the Bible. I mean, sure, being a sexual outlaw, and running around and doing these things, it's a phase, but it
Mhm.
ultimately arrives at like complete destruction, and that tower is blasted down. Like if you study the tarot at all, you have the major arcana, and
Mhm.
the tower comes directly after the devil, right?
Right.
So that sexual gratification of engaging in this carnal primal type of lifestyle ultimately leads to the blasted tower, which is, fuck, you got to restart. And restarting the like whenever the blasted tower comes up in a reading, that's always really kind of a dark thing. There's about, out of the 72, how many cards are there? Let me see. It's not 72. Is it 72? Yeah, I think they're 72. 22 and 50, 56, 78. There's 78 cards in the tarot. 22
Yeah.
major arcana and 56 minor arcana. But one
Right.
of those, there's about 20 something of them are very dark negative cards, right? And spell
Mhm.
that absolute bottom of everything, like um, bankruptcy, death, um, all these types of things, right? You get the idea. But whenever
Yeah.
they come up, and they always do, I mean, just by random chance, if you do a 3 card reading or a 10 card reading, you're going to get some dark cards, and depending on their placement, they're important messages, they're reminders.
Mm.
We need to aspire to a higher ideal, I think.
Yeah. And the highest ideal is love, isn't it? So you can't get any higher than that if you're going for true,
Absolutely.
but aiming for true love, which is what I aim towards. Then that's that's a good thing to to want. But I mean, I think that the biggest fear that when people go around sleeping with people randomly and just wantonly is that you always hear is that you're gonna contract really you know deadly and serious sexual
Right.
tran-
Right.
diseases. But like
Yeah, they
I've
did.
actually,
Yeah, that's
but
not true.
I've been really lucky. I just wanted to say I've never caught anything. So maybe I've
Yeah,
been
it's
lucky, or
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
that it's so much that you're lucky is that you're immune to bullshit, right? And
Yeah.
obviously, if you engage in that type of thing with someone who's overtly physically diseased, right, then you're a fool,
Mm,
right? And
sure.
a fool and
Sure.
his money, a fool and his money and health are soon separated. But
Mm,
yeah, they did that in LA. They came out with the AIDS pandemic, and
yeah.
they mostly promoted it among the black community, and it coincided with crack cocaine, right? And
Right.
so you
Of
saw
course.
you saw people, yeah, you saw people getting withered. They're freebasing cocaine, and they're engaging in hardcore alcoholism, and they're doing drive-by shootings, and it's like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, they have a autoimmune deficiency syndrome, or HIV, whatever they called it later on. Originally, it was just AIDS. It wasn't HIV. HIV came out later. Um,
Yeah.
but
It's
it's
all
a
a bit
kind of,
weird
again,
though.
it's a kind
You
of,
know, they
yeah,
said
it's a kind of,
HIV. You first get HIV, and then that sort of somehow turns into AIDS. But then
right,
I don't
and
know. Like,
HPV as well.
I'm not saying it's a made up thing, but I mean, we've now that we've got, that was the 80s and all that stuff. But now that time's gone on, and we've developed the technology, the vaccines, or the treatment, so that even if you do get AIDS now, it's not even a problem. You just go get treated, and you're fine. It's not
Right,
it's not this
right.
huge fear that that it used to be. So, but
Yeah,
also, before, and
one of
I was going
my
to
favorite.
say hi to
Go,
Creek
yeah, go
Mary.
ahead.
I've just
Yeah, Creek
noticed her
Mary,
come in.
Hey.
welcome. Good to see you.
Yeah,
How's it
going
going?
Thanks for
back to
joining us.
sex. um, it made me think about Brave New World. I think it's Brave New World. And, the attitude that they had towards sex and how
I don't
casual.
recall. Yeah, remind me.
Well, one of the phrases that struck me, because this was written like what in the 50s, I think,
Yeah,
and
40s, I believe. It's
40s,
like
and
free use, right? I don't know.
yeah. And I remember one of the phrases was this girl, the heroine, so to speak, was so
Oh,
popular
okay.
that she had slept with everyone in the company, in the office, and that's how nice she was, and how that's how they made just casual dates for sex all the time, and it was nothing. It was like less than a coffee date,
Mm.
but a lot of it had to do with the social conditioning, and the soma that they took to keep them happy and content and docile. But when the guy that is the hero was raised out in the middle of nowhere and away from the cultural influences, and he took that woman and her medicine wore off, and she was really freaking out because she was starting to have an intense emotional connection to this other person because of having sex with him.
Mm.
And it was like having that medicine and having that casualness and destroying the ability to make that kind of a connection because it was so casual was part of the conditioning for the culture, because you didn't make that kind of an intense connection with another person anymore. So I wondered, because I was around, I'm that old. I remember Summer of Love. I was out in California, but I was too young. But I wondered if that is not part of the purpose of making it more casual, because I remember when all this came out, you had the pill and you're supposed to be like a man and have sex like a man and that be casual and you don't care. And that's what they were doing to women. And I kind of fell for it too, because it was media propaganda and social manipulation at a broad, grand scale. Cosmopolitan,
Absolutely.
Ladies' Home Journal, Phil
Women's
Donahue.
lib.
Everybody pushed it on you, that sort of thing. But I think it is part of a bigger
Right.
plan to cause that kind of a disconnect between people so that they don't have that strong connection with each other, like a family connection, a tribal connection, even just a
Absolutely.
neighborhood community connection anymore. But that was the most intense emotional connection that they had, was through sex. But because they dulled the senses and made it casual, it had lost that power. So I think that might be what they're trying to do, is break down that kind of a connection between people. That was
absolutely.
my thought.
with
Yeah.
with the introduction of HIV or whatever.
Oh yeah, and I thought, my God,
Yeah.
what's it going to take, people? It says you're not supposed to do it for whatever reason. You're supposed to have like restraint. And it's like, first I remember there was gossip. It was like there was a like gonorrhea that they couldn't cure, and that was herpes. Herpes
Right.
first came out, and that freaked people out. And it was like, okay, y'all, that's like the slap on the wrist. And then it got into AIDS.
Yeah.
And you have
Go on.
sex and die. And people still didn't pay attention. Still going crazy. And it's like, all right.
I was just going to say, you mentioned herpes. That's actually herpes is the only STD that I've ever picked up from a partner, and that was from a long-term partner about 10 years ago or so. But it was mouth herpes. I just had these like sores around my mouth.
Oh, that's not the same thing. I worked in a lab when I was in high school, and that was what I did. The lady I was working with studied herpes simplex virus 2, which is the other kind. And we grew baby hamster kidney cells in the lab and studied herpes simplex.
Right.
But yeah, that's the good kind. That's not the bad kind.
Apparently, that's cool. Apparently, you can. But it wasn't. I thought, because I've picked up this from my girlfriend, which obviously we were what's the word?
Intimate.
Yeah, but we were exclusive. We weren't.
Yeah.
Neither of us were doing it with anybody else. So I thought, well, she kind of, it can't be because she cheated on me.
No,
and then
that's in your body.
I did some research and found out that you can carry herpes for in your body for years and not not even know. So
and it just pops out.
Yeah, and it's easily treatable, so it's no big deal.
Yeah, there's certain things you can be immune to as well. Like I'm a firm understander of, like we talked a moment ago about prayer, but the placebo effect as well. Like my wife, for example, she suffers from a lot of different ailments that she brings about through worry and vexation. And it's never affected me. We've been together like nearly 30 years now. And I tell her, I say, honey, you have to let go of those things, because if it's like a sore in the mouth. A Taoist master once told me this story. He said, if you've got a sore in the mouth and you constantly tongue at it, right? And you're always poking at it with your tongue, then it's going to take much longer to heal than if you just ignore it and let it go away. And so I think there's something to the whole idea of letting go. And we have Miss Mary Moon here as well. Let me introduce her and preamble her a little bit. Miss Mary Moon is a wonderful person that has been a member of the channel for quite a long time, and she is quite the magic individual, and I think she's oriented much as we are here on spiritual cultivation and reality. Mary, did you have something you wanted to chime in on in the conversation? It's a very rare treat.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Good to see you.
Hi. Oh, good. Hi. Good to hear you. Yeah, you guys were talking about AIDS and all that, and so
yeah,
I was yelling in chat, like me, 50 comments about
germ theory,
virus theory, because because since COVID, I mean before COVID, but COVID, it really exploded. That the fact that it's never been actually proven that viruses exist.
Yeah.
And so that sounds absolutely ridiculous, because there is measles and just, people will go on AIDS and just all these things. But when you actually get down to it and the scientific method, and you start questioning it, and people have done this, people have FOIPed, asked for the information from all of these places. You know what that means, right? Like when you ask for the Freedom of Information and Privacy Act from all these places.
Right.
So they asked like every clinic, every doctor, every health place that was giving vaccinations, everyone, to give them the information that proves that they isolated a virus. And none of them could do it. They just keep repeating the same thing. To isolate a virus, you follow this protocol. And the protocol, I mean, if I just ask you guys, now I'm going to ask you each, like, what do you think isolating a virus means in your peon way, like how I would word it in my peon peasant way? Tell me how you guys each think you would isolate a virus. How do you think they do that?
Yeah, who would ever like to go? Ricardo, Creekberry?
I have no idea. Sounds a bit weird.
Okay. Like working in a lab, for example, like I said, we used to grow baby hamster kidney cells in a petri dish. And to me, if you isolate a virus, it would think like if you had several things, for example, in a petri dish, and you eliminated all of them but one.
Okay. I would like to address it as well. I don't necessarily utilize the Western methodology as much in my medicinal approach. So from an Asiatic perspective, there is no such thing as a virus. That's a foundation of our understanding. But rather what we have are called pathogenic factors or pathogenic patterns. So rather than looking for some communal type thing transferred from person to person or whatever, that's not even taken into consideration in Chinese medicine. Rather, what we have are internal states. So from the individual's perspective, if you're a thriving, strong tree, and you've got your roots firmly planted in the ground, you've got the proper amount of sunlight and wind and water and all of these things, then you should grow healthy and thrive. And any of those other things would just be violations of the natural flow of qi. So a pathogenic factor would be something like wind invasion. You didn't cover yourself correctly as you slept at night, or you have dehydration, or you have something else. But anything else beyond that would not be as relevant as pathogenic factors. But anyway, that's a very shamanistic and low-level approach compared to Western scientific materialism. So, Mary, continue if you would.
Okay, yes, please. Oh, that was beautiful. That's exactly it. Like, to bring back what you said is the missing part, because first of all good answers, but that's what you think, right? You think, okay, how you isolate a virus would be you take some boogers or like some bodily fluid from someone, any kind of bodily fluid from this person that has some so-called virus, right? Then you put that in a petri dish, right? And then you're looking with some kind of high-powered microscope, right, to find this virus. You think that's how you do it, right? I mean, that makes sense, right? You should be able to you should be able to take some boogers or some poo or whatever, some spit, and put it in a fucking petri dish and use the use the electron microscope and zoom in really, really far. Well, because they say these viruses that's why you're sick, right? Because you have this tiny little virus that's so small it fits through those masks that people were putting on their face and all these tiny little viruses.
The mask would stop the virus.
Okay, but the breathe. Right, exactly. So this is the funniest part. So you think that makes absolute sense. Now there's doctors. I'm just a peon. I'm just a mom. I'm an astrologer. Like, I'm just me. I'm not highly educated or anything. I'm just an autodidact. But I figured this out from these other people and learning from them and reading from them and listening to them. So anyway, that makes sense. You think, okay, that's how you isolate a virus. But no, that's not how you isolate a virus. Okay, you take something from someone, okay, And then you add kidney cells from like a cow and like some egg protein from fucking chicken egg and like some antibiotics and some of this other stuff and some other stuff and you stir it all fucking around like a cauldron, like a black magic fucking cauldron of goo. And then you put it under this electron microscope that's super expensive. It looks like it's from 1985, by the way. It's like the look of it is a piece of shit, but it's apparently one of the strongest. I don't know, they might have updated it from the last time I looked, but it's apparently supposed to zoom in really far, right? And then you see these spiky balls, and these spiky balls are the virus. That's what they say. That's and when you start to pick it apart, you're like, what? So what if you take away like this and that, like all these other things you put in? And what if you only put in some of these kidney cells and some of this other goo and some of the other, and you don't put the snot? What then? You know, what's in the control experiment? And it turns out that really the whole virus theory falls apart because they've never actually done those control experiments. And I know it sounds fucking insane, you guys, but I at first it's one of those mind-blowing things, kind of like, you know, questioning the shape of the earth or whatever, where you're like, no, they couldn't have tried. No, but all the sick people, measles, but chickenpox, you know, all these, and you will slowly start to process it. You will start to fucking process that. And exactly what you said, Frank, is called terrain theory. It's your terrain. It's your fucking body. It's your body. If you're not in the right mindset, even, I mean, skip food, pretend you're poor, you know, like what about those poor people that don't have anything to eat other than some fucking shitty food bank shit or like garbage trash? It matters how they're feeling, you know? Their magic, their power.
Have you watched Jack Talcott at all? The homeless
life coach,
internet guru. Yeah, you've probably seen him. Yeah, he's a life coach. That's right. He's gonna stop all wars. But anyway, I've seen guys like him in LA that lived in the bushes and were in like extremely luxuriant health. They were thin, but they were like in very good health, and they were living in the fucking bushes with a shopping cart. But I wanted to bring forward a quick anecdote to support your idea, Mary. In college, I was living in an apartment with a friend called the Polynesian Village, and next door to us was a World War II veteran that had fought as a tail gunner on a ship in Germany. And so he's shooting down fucking planes and stuff, but he's a tail gunner. And so I was luxuriating in the sunshine and just, I was out there, I was working out and doing my kung fu and stuff, and I was probably naked. And he walked, basically naked, just wearing a pair of board shorts. And he walked up to me and he said, "Hey, boobies, what are you doing?" And I was staring at a leaf. And on the leaf on this tree it must have been springtime, right? Or late spring, probably early summer. And on this leaf was this anomaly, like this rigid, it looked like a herpes or what's the other one? Syphilis sore or something on this. Yeah, he called me boobies. And he said, "What's up, boobies?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I said, there's something on this leaf. I said, "I don't know what it is." And he said, "That's the most dangerous thing in the world." And I was like touching at it and poking at it, but I was totally in like the moment and the sensuality of the thing, like stroking the leaf and looking at this anomaly. And I said, "What is this?" And he's an older guy, he's like probably in his, 60s or 70s or something. And he said, "It's the most dangerous thing in the world, the unknown." And I said, "What is that?" Yeah, I said, "What is that?" And he said, wait, I'm going to finish one more sentence. I said, "What is that?" He said, "The invisible enemy." And I was like, "What the fuck is this guy talking about?" I just went about with my day, but it hit me really hard, like a smack in the face. I'm like, the most dangerous thing in the world is the unknown. And what is it? It's a kind of illusion. It's an invisible enemy, right? And this is like COVID, CV-19. That's what it was, man. It was absolutely the crowning achievement of the globalists.
I think it's generally what you call pseudoscience.
Mm-hmm.
They basically made it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Look up
they
those
got everyone
doctors
to believe
I put
it.
in the link. Those doctors that I put in the chat there, their names. Look them up. They on YouTube they get kicked off. But Dr. Tom Cowan, he does a live every Wednesday, and then he removes it. You know how like sometimes Frank does a live and then removes it because he says potty words because he's bad boy. So yeah, if they talk about it too much,
sometimes I get shit-faced drunk and just have to delete it because it gets way too fucking. It gets Billy Norwood crazy, right?
Let me up. I want to talk to everybody. I just want to be loved.
You destroyed the episode.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Good old
Terrible.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Yeah, say no to crack.
Yeah, Sam Bailey. She says her videos stay on YouTube. You'll see some of her videos still, and for some reason, I don't know. Maybe I don't know, but check her out. She's really beautiful. She's from Australia. She's an Aussie, or maybe New Zealand. No, Australia. Oh God, I forget. I forget. I forget. I don't want to say now.
What's the name?
Dr. Sam Bailey. She's a redhead, and she's from over there, down under, upside down on the globe. And anyway, her and her husband, they discovered it late. Like they're kind of noobs. They were like regular doctors, like regular mainstream fucking doctors. Like that happens, you know. You think when you're on this end, you think, I wonder if some of those doctors will, you know, research more and then get fed up of their sad life of just prescribing pharmaceuticals, and you know they'll want to help people find better ways. So yeah, they do. They eventually do. So they lost their medical license. Like they wouldn't renew them because of what they talked about, which is fucking massively huge. It's fucking huge.
Here's a funny thing. The only one from my family that's come over to China to visit me. I've been here nearly 30 years. I go home all the time and spend tons of fucking money visiting my family, but nobody's ever come over here except for my brother. He came here and he wanted to see the Forbidden City and all of that. He spent 12 years in medical school. He sought to become a surgeon, but he couldn't make the cut, so he ended up becoming a general practitioner. And he said, here's what he told me. He said, the one time he came to visit me, he said, I could teach you in 6 weeks to be a practicing doctor. 6 weeks. What it took me 12 years to learn. He said, that's how much horse shit we have to go through. And he said, and ultimately, he said, the end of the equation, you're just going to be a prostitute for the pharmaceutical industry.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
That's 12 years of medical school right there. And
That's
the fucking
beautiful,
truth. That's the truth of it.
In your own family, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly like these doctors. Same with Dr. Tom Cowan. He's got his own shit going too. Dr. Tom Cowan. He's hilarious. He explains it really well, in easy ways where people, because the thing is when you bring some of this stuff up to these doctors, they will word salad you, and their only point is just to make you feel like really stupid. And I caught on to that when I was a kid already. You know, I was a teenager and I was like, these arseholes don't know anything. They're just trying to bully me. Like they are literally trying to outwork me. I have no idea what they're saying, and I don't give a fuck. I know they're not going to be good to me. That's all that matters. So see ya.
Well, and I'm not going to say cannabis is the answer or any type of hallucinogen or psycho thing is correct for everyone. But like, if you really feel like you're at the edge of the threshold, go out into the fucking desert, eat some peyote, you know, do some datura, do the other South American one that everyone's popular on now with Joe Rogan.
Ayahuasca.
Try to fucking do that one time. I picked up a book on.
I'm still waiting to do
Native, that. Yeah, I picked up a book on Native American Indian herbs one time, and I figured out datura, and I went out into the desert. And I picked a bunch of it, and I ate way more than I should have. And I ended up on like a 7-day trip, and I went into like, I don't know, like a 2 or 3 day coma afterwards. But I saw the Holocaust, and I saw death trains and orphan trains. And I saw these winged demons riding on the trains and sucking out the loosh, as all of these children and people that were like stuffed into them. And I'm like, oh my God, that's gnarly. And I went back to my roommate and I'm like, I told him a little bit about my visions. And he's like, you know what, man? The slave railroad ran right through that yard back there. And it was a
Oh,
legitimate thing. And he's
mhm.
like, man, that's fucking gnarly. He said, you had yourself a vision. And I'm like, yeah, I ate way too much, bro.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
choked on my coffee. I was laughing and then I choked on my coffee.
yeah, it's serious fucking shit, man. Really, real things go on, and like, I think that somehow we can spiritually oppose them. Like in that one, I was in great darkness and I couldn't do anything. I could just watch. But now that I've learned magic to a higher level, and we argue about this to some extent. I know Mary, Miss Mary Moon, that
What
I think that the path of the magician is to break free of the chains of the Taiji, the yin yang, the zodiac, the triangle, all of it. I think that the magician's power is to somehow break free of it. And you would say that I'm living in human error and hubris.
I would
So do
no, but like
tell.
if you know what's happening, if you are aware, I mean, not just saying, "Oh yeah, those lights in the sky, they do things." But if you're watching, if you're learning, if you take that as a serious study and you learn, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and where they are in the degrees and all this so-called sacred math, and you test it out for yourself and see, is it really all they say it is, because it's pretty huge. It used to be shit on like my whole life. I've been 30 years asking everybody's birthday and people being like, why would you want to know that? That's stupid pseudoscience. And to me, it was because obviously, like, truly, it's because I did a bunch of acid, and then that night, I like the same kind of experience that Frank had there. I had like just I read this book, and immediately it was called Linda Goodman's Love Signs when I was coming off that acid, and immediately I realized that everyone on Earth was being controlled like by these lights in the sky, and by controlled, I mean like you can know what they're doing, but I don't really think you can stop it. But when you know what's happening, it's you can sort of be shifting and working with it. That's sort of my idea. So I really
Yeah,
don't think we have
that
free
makes
will. Like
sense.
it's
That
kind of
makes
fun.
sense.
Yeah. But
Well,
yeah.
that makes sense to an extent, and I would counter a little bit. Number one, to call it a pseudoscience when it's documented the oldest science among human beings. We've been studying these starry formations and their influence since the time of the Sumerians, the Babylonians, the Egyptians, the Chinese, right? It's actually the most recorded, most scientifically, methodologically studied phenomena since ancient times until the 1500s. That's when they started to break away with Galileo and Kepler and all of these guys that came up with their new Freemasonic spaceballs. Right. Prior to that, it was
Right.
all the influence of these energies. 5,000 to 6,000 years of documented study of it. I would say it's the largest branch of genuine science. Right. So when people write off astrology as a pseudoscience, I'm astounded
Me
and
too.
befuddled and actually angered, and that's what we have these days. Yeah, we've been doing this for 10 years, so it's much better. No, I don't think so.
NASA. We have NASA. Like it's almost like they're making. Well, I know they are. They're making fun of the sacred science of astrology by naming everything after it and having these rocket trips where they just take all these USA dollars, whatever it is, like 52 million a day or something. NASA makes every
And
day.
with that said,
Crazy.
let's get the human element a little bit. Ricardo, would you be prone to reveal your star signs, maybe your Chinese
Yeah,
zodiac,
sure, no
or
problem. No problem at all. I'm well versed in all of it really. So I'm a Virgo sun, with Scorpio rising, and a Capricorn moon in Capricorn.
oh wow, three fucking Scorpio risings in here right now, baby. Me marrying you.
Yeah,
No,
That's
right.
Scorpio
awesome.
moon. No, Scorpio moon, Frank.
Yes,
We have Scorpio
Scorpio moon. Yeah. So
That's cool.
my rising sign is,
Yeah,
Mary. Do
what
you
is it?
recall? Is
Wait,
it
I'll just
Gemini or Aquarius?
hold on. I'll open your chart. Okay, so Ricardo, you said you are Virgo with.
Virgo sun, which seems very like antithetical in my mind. Okay, so the sun sign would be more of your like, if I get to know you much better, then I'll understand your virginistic Virgo
Oh,
type qualities. And his
right.
rising was Scorpio, and
Yeah,
then wait, don't worry. And his moon, your moon was what,
Moon's in
Ricardo?
Capricorn.
Capricorn.
Capricorn. Okay, yeah. So I could perceive more of a Capricorn Aquarius. Are you at the tail end of Capricorn?
Not sure.
Yeah, that's hard to say with the moon.
Maybe.
Go ahead,
I don't have
Mary.
any. I don't think I have any Aquarius in my chart. Interestingly, but I've got most of the others.
So
Oh,
Mary,
so
you were
that's
gonna
like
say.
Virgo. So your Virgo is in like around the 11th house.
Not sure.
Because you have Scorpio rising, so that would make Virgo 11th, Libra 12th,
I had the
Scorpio.
chart. My dad made a chart for
Oh,
the whole
cool.
family when we were born, but I don't have it with me. But maybe he's still got it. Maybe
No,
I
that's what
could
it
get
would
it.
be. That's what it would be. Because if you have
But that's
Scorpio
what it was.
rising and you're going around in the clock. So Frank, I just want to say, Frank, you have your rising is like right exactly on 29 degrees of Cancer, which means it depends on those 4 minutes, really. Like a few minutes that could change. So that I don't know. Do you think Frank has Leo rising? I kind of think Leo rising. Like it's 29 degrees of Cancer or else 0 Leo is your rising. And so I was always wondering that, because you know who you really remind me of, this Leo that me and my best friend Kayla, who has her birthday by mine, we're like twins. We were best friends with this guy, and he totally was like you. Frank, he was like you. His name was Mike, and he was like this loud, boisterous Leo and really fun. And he would do the craziest shit. Like one time he took us. He's like, we were only 16. Okay, we moved out alone. We lived in my car, and he takes us to the store, and he goes, "Watch this. If you're really obvious about everything, no one will do anything." So we walk in the store with him, and he he looks just like Frank. He's born the same year as Frank too, and he has Jupiter and Pisces, and he's head up in the air, but he has a big head of dreads, same color as Frank, but like wiry dreads, okay, and like looking like a dirt hippie, right? He walks through the store. He gets a little ghetto blaster, a little cassette player. That has batteries. He walks over to the batteries. He puts batteries in. He walks over to the tapes. He puts music in. He pushes play, and then he's like, "This place is too dead. I need some music up in here." And he starts dancing, and then just walks out. And like we walk out with him. He didn't pay, and that was the whole thing. He's like, see if you're really beautiful and like shiny. And he was complimenting the workers. He's like, "Ladies, you're looking beautiful today." And so those ladies, they're beaming, smiling, right? They're like, no idea what's going on. They're just happy as shit because this handsome tall man is coming in there being all fun, And yeah, he would do things like that. It was so funny, and we just thought that was the funny. So anyway, I think Leo rising. So I think that means his.
I would like to think that I'm a Leo, but only because my father was a Leo. And
No, I
think
totally see it. I can see it. So I think your time
your
is
dad was as
probably
well, right?
Yeah. Our dad have the same birthday.
That's right.
And our fucking moms have the same birthday.
I remember that. Yeah, that's
Dude.
Crazy fucking magic right there.
My dad.
We're like spiritual twins somehow, me and Mary.
Weird. I know. Yeah.
Yeah,
and we have the same
magic.
sun and moon. The same sun and moon. I'm Pisces with Scorpio moon, like Frank. But I have Capricorn.
So Ricardo, you said your moon was what?
Capricorn.
My moon's in Capricorn.
Okay, that's right. I'm writing it all down. And Mary, you said your sun, rising, and moon are what?
Really, really moody.
Really moody. Capricorn moon. Capricorn moon is kind of like a Scorpio moon, and they're like the fall of the moon. So we have harder moon signs where the moon doesn't like to be in those signs where, first of all, Capricorn is cold, hard, analytical businessman. It wants to get to work. It wants to be logical. So when the moon is there, your emotional state is sort of like, can we just get like it will, people will be like, why are you so cold? And you're like, I just want to get to the root of the problem and then solve it. And people will be like, what? Why are you so cold and logical about this? Like, this is my emotion. And you're just like, can we please solve it?
That was Frater Tomas, if you remember.
Totally.
Mary.
Yeah, I totally know. Yes, exactly.
You remember Tomas?
Yes.
So you, Mary, tell me yours again. Sun, rising, and moon. I'm gonna write it down.
Sun is Pisces, same as you. Moon is Scorpio, same as you. And rising sign is Capricorn.
Okay. So you
4
have a
degrees.
similarity here with Ricardo, with the
Yeah.
Capricorn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to get
But
to work too.
whereas-
I am similar to that sometimes. I am, and you, Frank, also have Capricorn. You have Mars and Capricorn, which is a very
Yeah, that's
powerful.
right.
Like that's exalted. That is like, here I am. I am here to fulfill everything that I am meant to. Like, you know, just busting with energy. That's so you. It's like that'll put the lead in your pencil. Like yo, it's just you. Get to
That
work.
happy horse shit, right?
Yeah. Like I need
Get
another
done.
job. I'm not busy enough.
Do good magic. Yeah, I always say that the more you do, the more you can do, right? So your capacity expands.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, you know that Capricorn is also the Dagon, the father of the sea god, half fish, half goat, right?
Yes.
The black goat of the woods. Yeah, so it's very Lovecraftian. I like that. Oh,
It's
Mars
very
and
dark.
Capricorn.
Dark, like seeing in the dark, and just observe. Very
And-
like hypersensitive to everything that's going along in the room. You know, like a Capricorn.
Okay.
Anyone with Capricorn, anything will have this hypersensitivity where you can't pull the wool over their eyes. Like it's extremely hard to trick them because they're so aware.
That's good magic.
Capricorn's also the sign of the mountain goat, which means they're big. They're climbers. They're always
Yes.
climbing to
Yep.
Is that
greater
right?
and greater
Yeah, that's
heights.
right. That's right.
Yeah. It's a cardinal
they're good
boss
at that.
sign. It's a cardinal boss sign because it's when the sun gets to the Tropic of Capricorn. So it's an important, like the Tropic of Capricorn and then the Tropic of Cancer are both cardinal points. And then the other ones are the equinoxes, Aries and Libra.
Tropic
makes
of
a big
Capricorn
cross.
and Tropic of Cancer, right? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
yeah.
Hmm.
That is tropical astrology. That's what we're talking about. Tropical astrology
Yeah,
is
so-
the sun's journey on the tropics. Yeah.
How much
So
should
the
I worry about my
cardinal sign.
daughter being a Capricorn? Being a Cancer, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, whole charts matter. Truly, whole charts matter. Because, you know, you
Yeah,
will
they
meet.
do, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Like
It's
you
all
will
life
see, like
matter.
Kurt Cobain. Kurt Cobain's a Pisces like us, and you will see that he's not like us. He doesn't have that Aries like how we have, where we're like, yeah, powerful Aries, fiery, and take over, you know, and bust through the scene. It's like I said, it's like Capricorn. So the more cardinal signs you have, the more fucking martial, you know, Mars. The more Saturn, the more organized, the more structured you are, the more fucking get to work. Those are the strongest parts. And we all have strong things. Creek Mary, what's yours? Are you there?
Yeah.
Yes,
Let's
I'm
learn about
listening
Creek
and
Mary a little
learning.
bit.
Oh,
Yeah,
what's the other
tell
Mary?
us.
I want to know what the other Mary.
All I know is I'm a Leo.
Sun sign.
Rise.
Oh, cool. No, that's cool. That's cool. Well, if you ever want to know, you can message me later and tell me your birthday. Or if you can say it if you want. But if you don't want
Oh,
to,
I'll say it. You know what? Would it? Yeah.
I'll look it up right
King
now.
of the jungle.
Okay, August 11th, 1956.
Oh shit! I think I remember you told me that. That's so cool. That's my dad. The day after my dad's birthday.
Ah. And
Yeah,
Tahlequah,
that's
Oklahoma.
awesome. What about, do you know your Chinese zodiac? Start with Creek
I
Mary,
think it
and then
might be monkey.
you're a monkey.
You're a monkey.
Okay, cool.
I think because it made me laugh.
Yeah, I
Monkey's a
I
great
couldn't hear
fun.
what you said. I couldn't hear what day and year. Sorry.
Oh, August 11th.
August 11th, 1956.
Oh yeah, no, the day I forgot the year. Okay, 1956. Okay,
Uh-huh.
August 11th. Okay, got it. Wait.
You're a
I'm,
monkey. Yeah, you're good. You should be good at business. Wait just a second for Creek Mary.
Oh my God,
Right.
well.
We're all fucking monkeys. What about you, Richard? Ricardo, sorry.
I'm Chinese wise. I was born in 1975, which makes me a
Rabbit.
wood
Or a dragon.
wood hare or wood rabbit or wood hare. I prefer
Yeah,
hare
that's right. Wow.
because they're bigger and stronger and faster than
Mm.
rabbits. But yeah, the wood
I'm a snake.
wood hares are really creative. And so
Do you make stuff?
Yeah, that's good.
I make music. I play around with words.
Cool.
I'm quite, I go to this, I just started going to this improv music group. It's run by members of the local symphony orchestra. And it's amazing. People just come and we're encouraged to bring our instruments, and we so I bring my trumpet, and other people have got oboes and all sorts of instruments, and we just fuck around, we just like have a laugh, and we're making a song, making our own song from scratch, and it's just amazing because I just get to be free and creative, and there's no judgment, there's no playing wrong notes or anything. It's just really, really casual and fun. So I love that.
Yeah, that's good magic. I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And Mary,
Okay, I'm looking at Mary's.
are
I'm looking at Mary's.
Fire snake, right?
Yeah, I'm fucking fiery and snaky, and I already have Aries, and I have Scorpio, and I'm fucking bossy, and I'm selfish sometimes. I'm extremely like fiery for a Pisces. People are like, sometimes
where's your Aries and Mars?
What? Oh, it's the same as yours. It's Venus Aries, but
Venus Aries.
let's talk about Other Mary for a second. Okay, Other Mary is a Leo, and then she has Moon in Libra, which is that's the moon sign before ours. It's before the moon is really crabby patty like me and Frank, but we're lucky. When we have our Scorpio moon, because it's a bad sign kind of for the moon, like Capricorn, it's a hard sign, I'll say. But we're lucky because we're with Pisces and they get along. They're both water. But Mary is also lucky because she has fire sun and then air moon. So it's very social and happy. And she still has like a shy part though. She has like, look at her, see, she's still kind of quiet sometimes, but she listens really well. And she has that Mercury Virgo where it's like, she'll really listen. She'll be a good listener. She'll listen to what you're saying. She'll be like, everyone will want to go to her, I think, and be like, Creek Mary will listen, whatever your real name is. And I think you probably do that.
I feel
really
that.
well.
I feel that better.
What was her moon again?
Her moon is Libra. So August 11, 1956, the moon is in Libra at 19 degrees at midnight. And it means from the whole day on the 11th,
Yeah,
the
so
whole
it depends
day.
on what time of day she was born, right?
It's Libra for sure, but I don't know what degree.
It seems like it was dark. Like 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock. It was dark.
Couldn't hear you. You're roboted out. What about her rising?
I think it was dark.
Did you
like at night?
Oh yeah, like the rising.
I can't hear anyone. Can you hear her? Yeah, no.
I can still hear.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me?
Is everybody roboting or is it just me?
Oh no, I don't hear. I hear you fine.
I can hear.
Yeah, I think I've run out of hours on StreamYard. Maybe they're gonna shut me down. I don't know.
Oh damn. Yeah, you've been on here a while. I got here.
Everybody seems to be roboting.
And you were getting ready to shut it down because nobody was here.
No, I don't know Mary's rising because I didn't do the exact chart. Oh, are we still here even if Frank hangs up?
He'll be back.
Wow.
We're still live.
Oh, I didn't know. Cool. Okay.
Oh God, we're totally unsupervised then. All right.
Oh.
It's a show takeover. Frank Monday.
Carry on.
The space is
You
ours
have
now.
Pisces, Mary. You have Pisces. Other Mary has Pisces. She has Mars and Pisces.
Still roboting.
Oh shit.
Maybe it's me. Internal microphone, AirPod.
Would like some incense.
I got a bad connection, guys. My bad.
Oh, that's okay. Apparently, we don't need you at all.
It's sunny here now. You have Pisces, Mary. You have Mars and Pisces, which is a very artistic and quiet and good listener too. So you have a lot of that good. You have a lot of that. I keep saying good and bad, but I don't know why I say those words. I just keep saying them today. For some reason, I started saying them. I don't know why. I think I heard a video, but like, do you see how mutable signs are really adaptable to that? And whatever you're around, you'll sort of adapt to it. That's what Pisces is like. That's what Virgo is like. Gemini is like that. Sagittarius is like that. Those are all the mutable signs. Can you hear me?
So they're
Oh,
they adapt.
the mutable signs, yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's me. Like if
Changeable.
I'm hanging out with mathematicians and like all these fucking, I start talking like them and like add more words to my vocabulary and stuff. But anyway, I was just listening to like little kid stuff and I was out in the garden and like I had a kid song in my head and I was remembering being a kid. And that's where it came from, I think. But anyway, there's like, you could say it however you want, like darker and lighter or easier and harder, you know, like Saturn and Mars are harder. But mutable signs, they're adaptable. They're the end of each season. So they will listen really well. They adapt to other people because they don't want to stick out. They don't want to be on their own. They don't want to be seen as selfish. They want to be like part of the group and be loved and be told they're a good listener, you know, because they really are.
Absolutely. I fall into that category.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. I think all of us here have a little of that, and then also a little bit of like get up and go and do your own thing, you know, kind of.
Yeah, so we've got a monkey, a wood rabbit, an ox, and a fire snake. Yeah, it's good magic.
Oh yeah, my brother.
So
my brother's an ox.
Okay.
He's cool.
Yeah, it's a bit of
He keeps his head
subterfuge,
down,
but
just does his work, doesn't blab, doesn't overtalk,
yeah. Nice.
just does his thing.
My grandfather, my father, me, and my son all fall into that category for the public. So it's good fun. And in Chinese, when you have one ox, it plows the field. When you have two oxes, you can start a dairy. When you have three oxes, you can go into the beef business. And when you have four oxes, you can start to do bullfighting. So entertainment. It says that according to Chinese mythology, that the first ox can generate like the hard, laborious income. The second ox, you can sit back a little more and enjoy the cream of the crop, the milk, so to speak. With the third ox, you can actually start to slaughter them and get like a good beef business. Okay, and then the Chinese, they think that the first medicine is good beef. According to ancient Taoists, if you've got a good cow, like totally opposite of the Indian Hindus, right? They think the fucking cow is a god and they won't even eat it. But the Chinese are like, damn, get some oxtail, get some fucking bull cock, eat the feet, eat the nose, they eat everything. That's the thing with the Chinese, man. That's why I love them so much. It's like, I don't give a fuck. This shit is here for us. I know some of you are vegetarians. I think Creek Mary Moon.
No, I'm not.
Ricardo, maybe.
Yeah, I was brought up vegetarian, so I'm
okay.
I'm very pro-vegetarian.
I apologize. Yeah,
Well, I think
don't mean
it comes from being poor. You have to learn to eat everything, so you don't go like. There's some stuff
That's right.
Like traditional,
right.
like sour sake, sour cornbread, and I joke about it because it's like strong. And I'm like, I think that comes from Trail of Tears when that's all they had to eat, and they just told the kids, "Eat it. It's supposed to taste like that."
That's right. If you're poor, you eat dirt. Like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mystery meat.
Yeah.
No, not for me.
Yeah. So we have a veggie head. Ricardo's a veggie head. Creek Mary's a feather head.
No, I'm not a vegetarian.
No, not
I used to be though.
Creek Mary.
Yeah, same.
I'm just saying.
I'm what is the word? I'm giving everybody a nickname. We got Veggie Head, Feather Head, and Starry Head, right?
I'll take that.
Okay. Wait, which one am I?
You're the Starry Head.
But I have a lot of chickens. I have like 19 chickens, and I'm getting 25 more chickens in a few days.
Oh, so you think you're a featherhead? Yeah. You're not a featherhead though. That's Creek Mary.
Okay, Creek Mary.
She's a First Nations person. I don't know if you know that or not.
Okay.
I think
I remember that now.
Change my name then.
Yeah, Canadians, you guys are familiar with the First Nations people, right?
Oh yeah, that Voy. How you doing? Voy is here.
Yeah, Voy. Good to see you, man. Good magic.
Yeah, when I was. By. Hi, Voy. Hello, Voy. Whoever you are. Nice, Frank. He says.
Hi, Voy.
When I was pregnant with my last baby, I had a dream that, it was by like water, and there was all these native people there. And then so I thought, oh, cool, I'm gonna go on this walk. So I went by this. I don't know. I always do these things. So I was just motivated by this dream. So I had my other kids, and we just went wandering. We had no car, so we're wandering around. And then I saw this course that was to make a moss bag. Do you know what that is for babies?
No.
No.
So it's this bag that you put babies in, and natives here did it, but also native Irish did it. It's exactly the same as the native Irish ones, exactly. And it's a bag with like a hard piece of wood in the back, and so you basically like put your little baby in there, and then it has flaps, and you can look it up and see what it looks like. It's really pretty. Anyway, so I went to this class, and it was this native woman named Rita, and she was teaching us to make these moss bags. And so I made this moss bag for the baby that was still in my tummy. That's Safri. She's 16 now. And so yeah, then I made this moss bag. But then anyway, the government called Brad's mom. Brad's the guy that I
wait.
Then,
And she's a Cancer, right?
Safri is a Virgo. Saf is a Virgo. That's the baby.
Oh, okay.
That's
but she's 16 now. Yeah, she's 16. Saf. And so anyway, she's the Virgo. She's a Virgo sun and Scorpio rising, and Moon in Gemini. And so then I had her in the moss bag. It was really pretty. I think I still have it, maybe, but and then the government phoned and told him that he is Mi'kmaq, and they can get Indian status. And his mom kind of looks native, but like he has black hair, and I did kind of wonder like how you getting black hair, because his eyes are super pale blue, this beautiful blue, but his hair is black. So apparently that's where he gets it. But he didn't get the Indian status anyways, because I didn't want that, or he doesn't want that, and I didn't really want that for the kids, but I kind of do now. Like they're older now, and maybe we can get something from it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. I was telling a story, I think yesterday, in fact, that according to traditional Chinese wisdom, that when an army moves in and conquers a people and slaughters many of the native people, then all of those spirits rise up and are born into the children of the conquerors. So like imagine, the colonists move in and they conquer a new land or whatever, and they try to uproot the Aborigines. All of those spirits are reborn and get and you love all of your children and stuff. And so like it's this spiritual reclamation, as it were. And so yeah, I always thought that I was a featherhead as well. And I told Master Nee when I met him, I'm like, yeah, I think that I might have been born as a reincarnated Indian. And he said, yeah, that's possible. But he said, I am suspicious that you were a Taoist wizard.
Well, I wonder if that's where some of that generational rebellion comes from. Some kind of subconscious resentment. If you are born from the people that were murdered and slaughtered and you come back as a child, maybe that's where some of that rebellion and teenage angst comes from with parents.
Oh, absolutely. That makes perfect sense. Yeah, that's very insightful.
Okay, I don't know if you guys know this, but I mean, some people know this, but the eastern side of Canada used to be called Acadia, and it was already settled with the Mi'kmaq and the Maliseet and a whole bunch of whiteys that were there for hundreds of years before the ships got here. They called themselves Acadia, and they spoke French, but they also had the Mi'kmaq language, and they also didn't fight. It was the natives that didn't fight with these whiteys, and they were all settled. They were intermarried, some of them weren't, and it was called Acadia. And then when the ship came over to Nova Scotia, in particular where I am right now, I didn't know any of this, by the way, because I never learned any of this in school, and I didn't really pay attention to it either. So they were there for hundreds of years. The ships came here, and the English, the crown, gave 7 parcels of land to the 7 main families of Nova Scotia, which were the generals or whatever in the army that were had all the troops under them to kill everyone who wouldn't be submit to their power, the crown, right? And so all the natives and the whiteys that were settled that called themselves Acadia already, they already had peace amongst each other. They traded, they did everything together. They weren't enemies at all. They were all murdered or expelled in the war that's called the French Indian War, and you can look it up. It's there. And they were expelled to like the Appalachia region, which goes like all the way down. I don't know. You United States people know the fucking mountains go from all the way at the top to all the way down there.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
yeah, and so when
the
you
Blue
say
Blue Ridge Mountains, the Smoky Mountains.
yeah,
Appalachians.
exactly. Yeah, and when you say Acadie in French, it's not, and start to say it fast like Acadian, it sounds like Acadian, Cajun.
Appalachian.
So that's where
Cajun.
Cajun comes from.
Mhm.
Cajun food and all that Cajun stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good magic. That's where
Yeah.
my maternal grandmother's from. My mother's side of the family. An interesting thing about her too is she was a very spiritualized woman, much like you, Mary. She didn't study astrology; she studied her Bible. But I remember when I was very, very young, she said that she would call upon the angels for various recipes and talks, tonics and
Mhm.
incantations and stuff, and she would pray and she'd pray on the word and call upon God and stuff and his angels. But she was always very deeply into angelic magic. And she said that anytime she needed something, she would just ask the angels and they would bring it to her. And when she got that piece of property where it is in the Tennessee Valley, and she ultimately willed it to me upon her passing. But she one of the things she loved the most were the blooms of the dogwood tree, and none of them grew on her land. She had 10 acres, natural spring, some hills and stuff, and very wooded, but dogwoods did not grow. And she said one year she sat down in meditation and prayer and asked God. She said she finally got so frustrated because no dogwoods would grow on her land. And she even tried to transplant some there. And they just would never take root or whatever. And so she sat down and she asked God and she called upon the angel Gabriel or whatever. And she said she basically begged him, please bring dogwoods to me. And the very next spring, dogwoods started popping up everywhere, and they became so prolific that she had to fight them back. So it's always the old adage: "Be careful what you wish for." Right?
Well, I think that, way earlier you were talking about magic, and I think that that shows that some people don't need to know, like people do rituals and technique and learn magic words, and you do this, that, and the other, and it'll make something happen. And I think that is like a crutch, but I think some people like that can just do it with naturally without
Yeah,
any
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of assistance and without any ritual.
Yeah, exactly.
I,
That's
I
it. That's exactly it. Yeah.
I agree with you emphatically too, and I would reinforce that and say that all of the ceremony and ritual and garb and incantations and
Yeah.
all of those things, they're just they're just building parameters. They have nothing to do with the
Yes.
actual intention of the thing. And I think that the method is supreme, that we breathe in, we hold, we exhale, and we hold, right? This is the fourfold breath in Judaism, the Hebrew tradition. But the basic inhalation of spirit from above, the heavenly realm descending into us, and the rising up of the manifest realm, the earthly plane, right? We have this vast, expansive sea level plane, and above us, this celestial, I call it the celestial dome. It's just the way I learned it. But this integrating of these energies, that's the basic equation. And I
Yeah.
think if your methodology if your methodology is good, you have a compassionate, kind heart, then you always rise up and ascend. And it's the darkness and the deception that corrupt people.
Don't get lost in the dark, man. Bring a light.
Yeah, bring your. Oh, here's an interesting one too, and just to to land it or bring it in or whatever to give it the upshot. There was a journalist when I was in college. I met an English major, and I was studying business at the time, and I ultimately switched to English as my major. But he was a journalist for the local paper, and he was a one-armed man. And here's the crazy fucking thing. I think he ultimately went to like prison with felony pedophilia.
Oh,
But at the time, yeah,
geez.
I don't know. I'm speculating. I saw him in the paper later on, but here's the thing. He was always in the paper and he was always writing articles, and I loved to talk to him because he was a couple of years ahead of me and he was a very intelligent guy. And I was reading some of his articles in the paper and I'm like, man, this is a local, like rural level county. And I said, what you're saying is very liberal and very progressive, and it seems very antagonistic to the local people. It's the Bible Belt, and he's talking about all of these types of things that now are just commonplace in the US and Canada and the Western world in general. But back then, it seemed very communist, very, I don't know, any
Yeah,
word you can do to
I get
summarize it.
it.
But he told me, he
Totally.
said, hey, he said, Frank, if you light a single candle, it will dispel the darkness. That was his idea. He said, if I'm burning one candle in the darkness, I'm providing light. And I said, yeah, that's something. It is. I said, but you got to be careful. If you light that candle and you're surrounded by bandits and thieves and gangsters, then aren't you just inviting attack? And so, by my methodology, to remain quiet and silent and work behind the scenes, because I was doing the same great work, right? I was also trying to bring awareness and enlightenment to the local rural people, but I was doing it through labor and interaction and teaching rather than by, shining a light. Hey, look at me, I've got something to say. And yeah, so anyway, the end part of the equation is that I think he ultimately went to prison for touching kids, and here I am.
You
I
can turn a
started a
flashlight on
family,
and off too, or a lighter. I mean,
and yeah,
you could
fair
go
enough,
far with those kind of
fair
things,
enough.
like don't make the fire too big, or just have it so it turns on and off like a light. You can
Yeah,
turn it off
and
if you're in danger and
don't
you need to hide. Yeah, you could
don't
go
don't
very
kill
far with those sort of things. Yeah.
all of the fireflies, right? Do you still have
Mhm.
fireflies in your area, Mary? Does anyone here among us have fireflies, lightning
Yeah.
bugs?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do you? Nice. Yeah, that's a valuable thing, man. Pay attention to
Mm-hmm.
those. So
Frank,
Oh
beautiful.
yes, they're fun.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Emma. I've got to go. We've got an emergency here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There's a leak in the bathroom, and we
Oh,
can't use
wow.
the bathroom because we might get electrocuted.
Oh, that
So
really is bad.
Okay.
Not to
no,
worry.
this
Do your
landlord really
thing.
needs to fix this place up, man.
Yeah,
Seriously.
I've gone way longer than I expected to as well. I think I've used up all of my StreamYard hours. So,
Hmm.
Okay,
thank you
dude.
for stopping. Bye,
Really
Ricardo.
enjoyed being on. Anyway, so take care,
Yeah, I
everyone, and
appreciate it.
thanks for the good chat, and I'll see you soon.
Absolutely appreciate having you here, and good magic.
Okay.
Peace out, guys.
Nice seeing you guys. Okay. Bye.
Wow, Mary, you left too. They both abandoned
Dang.
us.
I guess I better go too. They'll be talking gossip.
I know, right? Um, yeah, no, it's good magic. Yeah, so nice to have you come by and learn so much about you, Creek Mary and Leo. My father was a Leo. I didn't catch your rising sign. Did you catch it?
Something was in Libra,
That was your
and
moon,
I
19
forgot what the
degrees
other.
Libra. Say
But
again?
yeah, I can't remember what the other one was.
I'll have to rewatch the video. That's okay.
Yeah,
Maybe if Mary's still out there, she can put it in the chat.
yeah.
Yeah,
I should write it
she was
down.
yeah, she was calling me Whitey. No, I was writing it down. I know that you're a monkey,
Oh yeah,
and
I remember that part.
your moon was Libra, and your sun is Leo,
Uh-huh.
and
And I
voice says
forgot
he's
the other one.
rewinding. Yeah, I did too. I did too. Um, I know that she's a snake. Ricardo is a rabbit, a wood rabbit. That's nice.
Mhm.
My flatmate was stressing out, made me all panicky. Fuck that, going out into the sunshine for a walk. Good man. Yeah, go touch grass. That's one of the most
And it.
important things you can do.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything particular to do today, and
That's
I'm
good.
just
That's good
full of
magic.
mocha. So
Yeah, I'm gonna head off into the abodes of Dreamland, and then I gotta work tomorrow. And thankfully it's the weekend. It's Thursday night here. So tomorrow's the
mhm.
last day of the work week, and then I'll be free for the weekend. But yeah, the StreamYard thing, they only give you 20 hours if you have a free account. And
Really?
so
Oh,
yeah. And StreamYard's the best one for platforming people. I have another one. I have a backup account where I can also use like 20 hours or something. I forget what it's
Yeah.
called though.
Oh,
So I
mine
gotta
is
try
called Living Dangerously.
Living Dangerously. Do you know some of the other there's Streamlabs. I also have a Streamlabs. Yes, so I can continue
Oh,
to do
yeah.
some I could
Restream's
probably
another one.
restream. Is that another one? Okay, I gotta write that down.
That's another one.
Okay. Are there any others that are free like that? I guess I could just look them up. Because if
Yeah.
StreamYard's going to cut me off, then I just need to roll over and use one of the other ones for
Yeah,
the rest of
just
the month.
start another platform.
Because
Anyway, I will
blasted
let you
out.
go. Yeah.
Yeah. I blasted out some hours this month, man. It's only May 8th, and I've already used up all my hours. That's fucking crazy talk, right?
Well, once people start coming on and the conversation starts rolling, time flies.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Fuego et tempus. I forget the Latin for time flies, but yeah,
Oh, yeah. Tempest Future?
yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, good magic, Mary. Thank you for
Uh-huh.
stopping by. Good to have you. And I
Okay.
appreciate the interaction and the fellowship. So good magic to you. Much love.
Bye-bye.
And be well. Yes. Yes, indeed. And what's the Wiccan creed where they say Mary met and something else part. I forget. Anyway, wish you well. Yeah, Voy's out in Happy Land. Good to see you, Voy. Ricardo. Yeah, get that shit done, man. Fucking good magic. The flatmate stressing out. Yeah, that's not any kind of fun. Vexation. Yeah, you know the craziest fucking thing for me, man, is nearly every time I go live, some fucking disaster occurs. No matter how hard I prep beforehand and like set everything up, get the microphone set up, get everything ready, take care of everybody, make breakfast, everything's chill. And I'm like, hey guys, you need to back off for like the next couple of hours. I'm going to go live. And then immediately, bam, 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 one after another, the tasks start coming in. So yeah, that's just the way it works. The more you do, the more you can do. So you start getting involved and interacting on the internets and stuff, interwebs, then definitely everybody's gonna seek out your energy and want to hang out and chat and stuff. Yeah, so it's good fun. It's good magic. It's why we're here. Oh, God, I'm dying over here. Yeah, give me a second. Yeah, so I wanted to give a little shout out to everyone. Thank you for stopping by. I certainly appreciate it, man. Make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe. All that happy horse shit that makes YouTube's algorithms bark like Pavlov's dog. So tonight in the ideas room, we had off the top Creek Mary joining in. Good to see you, Creek Mary. Thank you for stopping by and saying hello. And then it was Mary at sea level. Wow, good magic. No, I think this thing didn't back up correctly. And then we had Ricardo Sunshine. And Voy finally tuning in. Yeah, Voy, if you want to go live, man, I don't think I can go much longer though. I'm kind of worn out. I'm tuckering out. We're going on 3 hours here, but it's definitely good to see you and good to see all of you. And it's nice too that like good magic is finally happening, that like some worthwhile individuals are stopping by and having stimulating conversations. I mean, that's the only reason I even was doing this YouTube thing, was to connect with people and learn something and share something and interact, because I honestly I think this is what the real magic is. You know, in the ancient archaic bibliological text, the old uh Christ, King of the Jews, said, "When there are when three gather in my name, I am there." And so he talked about this triangulation, right? The supernal triad, the Trinity, the divine Trinity, as it were. That yeah, if there's one dude talking, yeah, that's something. But then when there's two having a conversation, that's a little something more, right? And then when it's three, then you have the triangulation. And I don't know if you guys have studied your Carlos Castaneda at all, but Carlos, I'll write his name here in the chat. Carlos Castaneda, is that right? I'm not sure of the spelling, guys. My Spanish isn't great. But Carlos Castaneda, he wrote 12 books on shamanistic initiation through like peyote and smoking mushrooms and all of these other tests that the his old master put him through. And one of the basic equations, like the Celestine prophecy came out of this as well, I believe. But that same milieu, right, of these shamans going down and enjoying some and this was long before the entire Don Juan and the journey to Ixtlan, right? um but one of the things was that they would sit in powwows of 3 or 4 people. He said 3 to 5 was the best number. And so basically you sit in a seance and you have a talking circle and you sit equidistant from each other, and the wizard would watch the energy, and as long as everyone was like providing the energy of the Tao and flowing with it, then everything was good, and there would be a vortex of energy. I mean, it was basic conversational magic, right? And so you sit equidistant, 3 gathered in my name, 4 or 5, this kind of thing. This is the maximum level of divine human interaction. And I think, what more is there, than the Socratic seminar, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, Carlos Castaneda, and all of these other guys who brought forward the message that human fellowship is what we're here for. And even according to the Taoist tradition, is that even angels and ghosts and spirits will sit around the powwow, sit around the circle, and watch. And if you're sensitive to it, they'll signal you. Okay, yeah, you said something right here. Or if you make a mistake, they'll signal you. And I've had these spirits so overtly signal me before, because I work as a teacher, so I'm constantly engaged in this type of energetic exchange. And if I didn't heed their warning, then, oh man, the blasted tower, hubris comes before the fall, right? Pride cometh before a fall. All of these ancient aphorisms and maxims, and the wisdom of Solomon, as we used to call it. These things, they're legit, man. They're real. They're valuable, and I seriously think it's why we're here. And it's what I'm about. I don't have any fucking ulterior motive. I don't have any hidden agenda. It's just the magic for me, guys. And the magic is every single life breath that you pull in, every divine breath of inspiration. Inhale and exhale the word, right? Because in the beginning was the word, and the word was God, and the word was with God, and the word brought it into being. Man, it's a really powerful thing. I love y'all, good looking sexy people. Stay well out in happy land. Let me sign off the channel here. Grand Wizard of the Esoteric Order of Dagon, Frank Monday, coming at you once again like Finnegan. So if you've got a yen to expand your ken, then let's get zen with the 100-day challenge, way of the psionic agent, developing your psionic powers, guys. Psychokinesis, all that shit, telepathy, telaugury, clairvoyance, and so on and so forth. Check me out at buymeacoffee.com/Frank Monday. Check the posts over there, and you can find the syllabus for the 100-day challenge. I just challenge you to 10 minutes a day, every day for 100 days. Focus on some area of your life you want to expand, whether it be health, wealth, or wisdom, magic, music, art, whatever. Fellowship, that's what I've been focusing on, guys. Here I put in 3.5 hours focusing on communion with my fellow man. And I'm going to sign off with the integration, the invocation of total integration from the Universal Society of the Integral Way, Master Nihua Ching of 7-Star Communications. I learned this one from him directly. Here's how it goes. If you know it, say it with me. Heaven and earth are the spontaneous manifestations of the subtle, wondrous universal law. As the original oneness expresses itself, gross and subtle energies become distinctly divided. Our bodily caves are brightly illuminated by the luminous spheres in our three Dantian bridge points leading to immortality. The powerful spirits of the eight directions can join our being with the true origin of life. By the absolute order of the divine Ling Bao in the highest ninth heaven, send the positive energies of Qianlo, Dana, Dunkan, and Taishuan to destroy our spiritual obstacles and debilitate any evil influence. This order is given by the highest sovereignty, is a jade oracle from the subtle origin. We invoke with strong sincerity to drive away the demons and evils and lengthen our healthy years. The attained spirits respond. The evil demon king, Mo Wong, is chained to stand as our guard and servant. The powerful atmosphere has been generated, and the chi of Tao is everlasting. So it is commanded and confirmed. So mote it be. Amen. Ra. Hail unto thee who art Ra in thy rising, even unto thee who art Ra in thy strength, who travellest over the heavens at the uprising of the sun. Tahuti standeth in his splendor at the prow, and Rahorkoit abideth the helm. Hail unto thee from the abodes of the night. Remember, O neophyte, wanderer, wayfarer, wizard, warrior, and wildcat alike. Goodness alone is power, silence is strength, will regaineth omnipotence, and love lieth at the foundation. Because love is the law, love under will, and do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Just to give you guys a little look at what Mo Wong, chained to stand as our guardian servant, looks like. This is a Chinese AI rendition of the evil demon king Mo Wong. Check him out one time. He's gnarly.
不是耻辱，能屈能伸，方为丈夫。回去吧。出身寒微，不是耻辱，能屈能伸，方为丈夫。回去吧。
Good magic right there. There's been a lot of Chinese AI doing Taoist gods, and I don't know why, but they, obviously they're listening to us 24/7. They pay attention to what we're doing. They're calibrating their algorithm based on what we're feeding to them, and so the world is a reflective mirror, right? It was old Lovecraft that said, people of the world, what they see as reality is in fact shadow and illusion. And what is perceived as shadow and illusion is in fact reality. So it's a very interesting thing to see this old Chinese god of the underworld drummed up and brought to bear as our guard and servant. Y'all good looking sexy people, stay well out in Happy Land. Until next time, keep doing good magic as we wander into the abodes of the future. Ad astra prosperum. Carpe diem.